Chapter 250. In the wee hours of the morning, Baya followed Su Jiaran to his apartment. He took the medicine from the fridge, sat on the chair in front of the dining table, and coldly gestured for Baya to sit next to him. Baya glanced at the blue medicine and the advanced syringe in his hand. She sat next to Su Jiaran, lifted her shirt, and revealed her white arm. Su Jiaran twitched the corner of his mouth. "Aren't you afraid of dying? I've told you before, when the disease breaks out, not only will the whole body hurt like it's being torn apart, but you will also bleed to death." Baya looked at Su Jiaran calmly. Life was as light as a feather, and death was as heavy as Mount Tai. Rather than struggling at death's door, it was worth it to exchange her life for Gu Lingqing's. "Didn't you ask for the injection?" Baya asked coldly. "Heh." Su Jiaran chuckled. Yes, he was the one who asked for the injection. Was he begging her for mercy now? Begging for mercy would stop the injection? No. Su Jiaran's eyes were sharp, and he injected the virus into Baya's arm. Baya felt a chill penetrating her heart. Cold sweat broke out on her forehead, and she felt a little dizzy. In her ears, she heard the sound of her own breathing. She seemed to be in the dark. She couldn't see anything clearly, and she couldn't hear anything. However, because there was a belief in her heart, even if she was lonely, she didn't have any regrets. Gradually, her vision became clear, and she could hear the ticking of the clock. She looked at Su Jiaran. This kind of medicine needs to be injected once a month. When the body starts to feel tearing pain, and the nose, eyes and ears start to bleed, that's the limit, Su Jiaran explained. If I keep injecting it, how many years can I live? Baya asked calmly. A crack appeared in Su Jiaran's eyes. The thought of her dying made his heart wrench. He looked calm on the outside, but his eyes were slowly turning red. "You can live for as long as I want you to." Her expression didn't change at all. How long she lived wasn't something to be happy about. "Take me to see Gu Lingqing now. I'll let him sign the agreement. You can let him out tomorrow." "It's already so late." "Are you sure?" Su Jiaran asked doubtfully. She could empathize with Gu Lingqing's feelings. He was locked up and accused of being a spy, yet he was still concerned about her safety. How anxious must he be? With each passing day, the torment in his heart increased by a fraction, and the pressure on him increased by the day. The sooner he was rescued, the better. "I'm sure. Aren't you also afraid that a long delay will bring trouble?" Baya said sarcastically. "Gu Lingqing is dead this time. How can I be afraid of a long delay? But it's good to sign the agreement as soon as possible." Su Jiaran stood up and adjusted his clothes. "He signed it today. Are you sure he can be released tomorrow?" Baya wanted to confirm again. "He should be able to." Su Jiaran smiled and walked out. Baya followed him. In the car, she was put on a blindfold. "Why do you have to put on a blindfold?" Baya didn't understand. Gu Lingqing's identity is special. The organization is worried that someone will rescue him, which will lead to a bad result. The place where he's locked up is very secret. Even his parents can't see him, Su Jiaran explained. Baya's eyebrows were tightly knitted. If that was the case, how lonely would Gu Lingqing be? He would have to face interrogation every day. Interrogation. Even if he was innocent, he would feel sad. After all, he was suspected by the country he was guarding. Baya was sad. She lowered her head and closed her eyes. Her tears wetted the blindfold. She didn't say anything. She held back all her emotions. After an hour, Baya was taken out of the car. She was pulled along. She couldn't see the road clearly with the blindfold on. She tripped on the steps in front of her. Her knees hit the steps and she groaned. Su Jiaran's eyes narrowed. He slapped his subordinate's face and said fiercely, "You didn't even remind me of the steps. You're asking for it." "I'm sorry, Commander. I didn't notice." The subordinate covered his face and said in fear. Su Jiaran pulled Baya up and took off her blindfold. Baya was a little surprised. Why did people call Su Jiaran Commander? Thinking about it, there was nothing to be surprised about. He already had a hidden identity. She saw more than 10 armed guards in front of her. They surrounded the door. The structure of the house was also strange. It was an arch bridge without windows. Su Jiaran flung Baya's hand away and said coldly, "Follow me." Baya followed behind him. They went in. After passing through a 100-meter-long sealed corridor, they went down the stairs. Su Jiaran turned around and held Bai Ya's arm. Bai Ya instinctively flung Su Jiaran's hand away. Su Jiaran gritted his teeth. His eyes were sharp. He looked very displeased. He walked forward quickly. Bai Ya quickly followed him. It took them 2 minutes to go down the stairs. The floor was very big. There were 2 guards in front of each door. Su Jiaran stopped in front of one of the rooms. He looked at Bai Ya. He's inside. Bai Ya clenched her fists and walked to the door. Su Jiaran looked down at her pale face. Do you need me to go in with you? No, thank you, Bai Ya said coldly. Su Jiaran sneered. He knocked on the door and turned around. The soldier pushed the door open. Bai Ya felt a gust of cold air on her face. Her heart was also half cold. Gu Lingqing was in such a bad environment. The light inside was very dim. It was like candlelight. She vaguely saw Gu Lingqing lying on the wooden bed behind the iron bars. He did not even have a quilt. No matter how many times you ask, the answer will be the same. The firearms that were dug out from under that piece of land are not mine, Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. He did not even open his eyes. His arm was placed on his forehead, and he did not move. Bai Ya walked to the iron bars. She held the bars with both hands. Her eyes were sore and swollen. She used all her strength not to cry. She called softly, Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing heard Bai Ya's voice. He looked outside the iron bars in surprise. He strode to the iron bars and held Bai Ya's hand. He asked worriedly, Why are you here? Did you go to see Su Jiaran? Or did Su Jiaran look for you? Did you agree to his conditions? I asked Su Jiaran to see you. There are some things I want to figure out. Lingqing, what's going on with the firearms under that piece of land? Bai Ya asked. I think Su Jiaran knew that I requisitioned that piece of land in advance. He buried the firearms there to frame me. Is there any evidence to prove your innocence? Bai Ya's eyes flickered. Gu Lingqing was silent. After 15 seconds he said, I'm innocent. I have a clear conscience. Bai Ya understood. In this world, right and wrong, true and false, it was not up to the innocent to prove their innocence. It was up to others to judge. If others thought you were innocent, you would be released even if you did something bad. If others thought you were guilty, you would be sentenced even if you had a clear conscience. Chapter 251. Bai Ya's lips curled into a sinister smile. The way he looked at Gu Lingqing was as cold as December. You're saying that you're dead, right? Gu Lingqing looked at Bai Ya's expression in surprise. It was too strange and horrifying. It made one's hair stand on end. He didn't understand and shouted, Bai Ya! Bai Ya sneered and raised his chin. It's really not easy to ruin your reputation and die a horrible death. Gu Lingqing's heart sank. He sized up Bai Ya. What do you mean by that? The feeling Bai Ya gave him now was as if he had become another person. It was very unfamiliar. This person seemed to have come from hell. Bai Ya looked at Gu Lingqing coldly. There was no warmth in his eyes. Gu Lingqing, the explosion 3 years ago didn't kill you. 3 years later, you still died in my hands. You arranged the explosion 3 years ago? Gu Lingqing felt that it was unbelievable. He didn't believe it at all. Heh. Bai Ya laughed at himself. How could I have that kind of ability? I only told them that you're a soldier pretending to be an arms dealer. Do you think they'll let you live? Unfortunately, you're really lucky. You didn't die. Every day I was abroad, I was thinking about how to kill you. You have too much power. Your father has too much power. It's hard to kill you. I could only come to your side. Do you know how disgusting I was to have sex with you? Bai Ya said angrily. He widened his eyes and clenched his fists. The veins on his neck were popping. You hate me? This knowledge shocked Gu Lingqing. Why? Of course I hate you. You raped me on the eve of my wedding. My marriage was ruined because of you. My mother was also sent to the mental hospital because of you. My husband, the man I love, tortured me in every way possible during the 3 years of marriage because of you. Every pain I suffered was caused by you. Did you see that? Bai Ya raised his hand. His little finger was missing. It was round and extremely ugly. This is also because of you. How much I hate you and your parents. When I left here 3 years ago, I wanted to destroy the Gu family's reputation and make you die a horrible death. You're lying, right? If you hate me, why did you marry me? Why did you give birth to my child? Gu Lingqing didn't believe it. Wasn't that little finger the symbol of their love? You're the one who forced me to marry you. You're so powerful. Do you think I have the ability to struggle? I had already struggled and asked Su Jiaran to destroy the marriage certificate, but you still registered me on the marriage certificate. Do you know how angry I was at that moment? If you didn't force me like this, I wouldn't have thought of such a good idea and finally set you up. As for the child, Bai Ya's eyes reddened as guilt flashed through her eyes. She couldn't feel guilty. With how smart Gu Lingqing was, he would be able to tell even the slightest difference between her and him. Bai Ya clenched his fists tightly. That child called Xiao Tian is a chess piece I set up. He's not your child at all. He's an orphan who underwent plastic surgery to look like you and me at the same time. Gu Lingqing furrowed his brows and scrutinized Bai Ya. He gripped the metal bars, wanting to get closer to Bai Ya and see the traces of lies on her face. But she didn't. What she said seemed to be true. He didn't want to go into details. If it's really as you said, why didn't you go with Su Jiaran when he looked for you? That's because he's still bothered by the fact that I was tainted by you. He promised me that as long as we work together to bring you down, I can go to his side. Bai Ya shouted. Cracks finally appeared in Gu Lingqing's eyes. Her eyes flickered and she couldn't stay calm anymore. So Xiao Tian is fake, the treasure is fake, and your love for me is even more fake? How can I love an enemy? Of course the treasure is fake too. How could an unknown businessman know about the information about the treasure? I'm just setting you up. What about your jealousy towards Zhou Hailun? Is it also a pretense? Gu Lingqing questioned. If I didn't pretend, how would you believe that I love you? He. Bai Ya laughed wildly. She laughed so hard that her tears were almost coming out. Gu Lingqing, you're so stupid. You're as stupid as a pig. You deserve to be disgraced and die without a burial ground for messing with a woman like me. Ha 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 ha. Bai Ya laughed crazily. She turned around and turned her back to Gu Lingqing. Her tears kept flowing. Gu Lingqing was indeed disgraced because he provoked her. She couldn't let this happen. She knew that when she stabbed Gu Lingqing's heart with a sharp knife, she also cut off all the love between her and Gu Lingqing. From now on, Gu Lingqing would only have hatred for her and no love. This was also good. When she died 3 months later, he wouldn't feel sad. On the contrary, he would feel refreshed. She had done everything she could. Looking at Bai Ya's back, Gu Lingqing clenched his fists tightly. His eyes became colder and colder than before, like a block of ice. Underneath the calm exterior, there was a torn heart and severe pain. He was really stupid. He actually gave his heart to her completely without any defense. If he had wanted to do a DNA test with Xiao Tian, he wouldn't have been put on the list in the military. If he could verify the authenticity of that piece of land, he wouldn't have been set up so easily. For the first time in his life, he trusted someone, but he was hurt badly by this person. It was so painful. He deserved it. You came here to tell me the truth, didn't you? Gu Lingqing said coldly. His chest was moving up and down violently. His body was already filled with turbulent waves. Bai Ya wiped her tears, brewed her emotions, and became cold. She turned around and faced Gu Lingqing. She took out the agreement and a pen from her bag and handed them to Gu Lingqing. Sign it, the divorce agreement. Gu Lingqing slapped away Bai Ya's hand angrily. The force was so strong that a handprint immediately appeared on Bai Ya's arm. Get lost, Gu Lingqing said sternly. If you don't want your parents to be implicated by you, you'd better sign it. Otherwise, I'll let your parents go to hell with you, Bai Ya threatened. Do you hate me that much? You've hurt me before and you've completely forgotten about it. Of course I hate you. You've raped me more than once or twice. Because of you, I lost my mother, my husband, and my job. Even if I escaped to another city, you still followed me. You're the one who forced me to live. Bai Ya accused sharply. If I sign it, will you let my parents go? Gu Lingqing gritted his teeth and asked. Chapter 252. I will die soon. You can still go to his side and live a happy life. Gu Lingqing said coldly, staring at Bai Ya. She still didn't look at him. Without this divorce agreement, when you die, I can only be your wife, Gu Lingqing. I don't want to carry this title. Indeed. If I keep a person who hates me to the bone, I will be a fool. Gu Lingqing took the agreement and the pen from Bai Ya's hand. Bai Ya saw him sign the 3 words, Gu Lingqing, on the agreement. His handwriting was still beautiful, upright, and smooth. Bai Ya turned her face away. The mist had already filled the air. Once, she tried her best to get married. Today, this love was destroyed by her own hands. Gu Lingqing threw the pen and the agreement on the ground and said coldly, "You can get out now. There is another agreement. Please sign it." Bai Ya handed the marriage agreement between him and Zhou Hailan to Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing took the agreement from Bai Ya. Looking at the words on it, his eyes were burning. He looked at Bai Ya very uncalmly. "What does this mean? I am afraid that you will harass me in the future, so I left a guarantee." Gu Lingqing was so angry that he threw the agreement on Bai Ya's face. "I am going to die here. Didn't you arrange it? Do you think it is necessary for me to sign the marriage agreement with Zhou Hailan?" Bai Ya said expressionlessly. "I don't want to take it lightly until the last moment. Your family is too powerful. What if you are accidentally rescued? Even if I'm rescued, I can marry whoever I want. It has nothing to do with you, as long as it's not you. You can leave now, I don't want to see you again." Gu Lingqing turned around. "I advise you to sign the contract. Your child with Zhou Hailan is still in my hands. I can kill you at any time," Bai Ya said cruelly. Gu Lingqing threw himself at the iron bars. The iron bars were hit, creating a loud noise. "Bai Ya, do you really want me to see your cruelty and bloodthirst? You are going to die anyway. No matter how much I expose myself in front of you, it doesn't matter. After signing the agreement, you will be able to leave in peace," Bai Ya said coldly. Gu Lingqing glared at her. She knew that if she continued to avoid his gaze, it would only make her look guilty. She lifted her head and looked straight at him. The two of them stared at each other for a minute. "Give me the agreement," Gu Lingqing ordered. Bai Ya picked up the agreement and pen on the ground and handed them to Gu Lingqing. "You better not let me out, otherwise, I will make your life worse than death," Gu Lingqing said maliciously. Bai Ya stared at Gu Lingqing. She didn't plan to live for long. After helping Tang Xiaojiu find the murderer of the village, she would go abroad, find a place where no one knew her and found her, and die quietly. She couldn't bear the cruelty of this world, and she didn't want to. "If you want to deal with me, you better stand at the top, otherwise, you will die again," Bai Ya said coldly. Gu Lingqing threw the agreement on the ground, turned around, and faced her back. Bai Ya picked up the 2 agreements and put them in her bag. She looked back at Gu Lingqing for the last time, and the corners of her mouth turned up slightly. Tears rolled down her face. "Gu Lingqing, I hope that we will never meet again in this life." She turned around and walked out of the room. Su Jiaran came out of the surveillance room and stood in front of Bai Ya. "Well done. I almost believed you." Bai Ya passed the agreement to Su Jiaran. "Remember, let him out tomorrow." "Do you think I will let him out after I get what I want?" Su Jiaran said evilly, insolent and reckless. Bai Ya had already expected this result. Su Jiaran would go back on his words. Even if she took the risk of being cheated, she still came. If she didn't come, Gu Lingqing would definitely die. If she came, Gu Lingqing would still have a chance to live. "As long as Gu Lingqing doesn't die, I will stay by your side and tell you the secret of the treasure. If Gu Lingqing dies, I will die with him and bring the secret of the treasure to hell," Bai Ya said indifferently as she looked at the air. "That piece of land is where the treasure is hidden? So Gu Lingqing requisitioned that piece of land?" Su Jiaran heard this from the surveillance room. "Where did you get the treasure? Let him go and you will know." Bai Ya walked past him and went upstairs. When she went upstairs, Su Jiaran's men put a blindfold on her. Bai Ya stood still. Su Jiaran held her arm and walked forward. His men opened the car door, and Bai Ya got in. "Stay at my place tonight?" Su Jiaran asked. Bai Ya twitched the corner of her mouth. "Aren't you worried that I will kill you? If you kill me, No one will help you save Gu Lingqing. Before Gu Lingqing is saved, you won't kill me, Su Jiaran said with certainty. She was not stupid. If she went to Su Jiaran's place, it was obvious what he would ask her to do. She did not want to give herself to him. Before you save Gu Lingqing, I will not contact you again. Let me out of the car, Baiya said coldly. Su Jiaran took off Baiya's blindfold, leaned forward, and put one hand on the side of her head. I can do whatever I want to you now. You can't resist at all, can you? Is there a difference between a woman's body to you? You want my heart, don't you? Baiya looked at him coldly. Su Jiaran held her chin and moved his handsome face closer. Will you give me your heart? I gave it to you before. Baiya did not deny it. Su Jiaran paused. He looked into Baiya's eyes, and a complicated look flashed through his eyes. But you're giving it to Gu Lingqing now. Do you think it's possible for me and Gu Lingqing to be together? Baiya retorted with hatred. Su Jiaran's eyes flickered, and he let go of her. That's right. You can only live if you follow me. Your body can only be mine. I'm not afraid of a long time. I have plenty of time to wait. Accompanying you for a lifetime is also the longest confession. The way we love each other is different. Your love is to dominate, like a child playing with a toy. My love is to fulfill. So we are destined to be different kinds of people, Baiya said in a low voice. I'll leave after I fulfill your wish. You will never see me again, and you will never be able to stay by my side. Su Jiaran was a little emotional. Forget it. There are always strong people in this world, including women. Get out of the car. Don't do anything that you will regret. I can let Gu Lingqing go, and I can also capture Gu Lingqing. Su Jiaran gestured for the driver to stop the car. Baiya opened the door and got out of the car. She looked at the boundless night sky. It was so dark that she could not see where she was going. She seemed to have nowhere to go, so she found a hotel nearby to stay. Chapter 253. That night, Baiya didn't sleep again. Her heart was aching. She had been studying the diary that Chen Wei's father gave her. There were a lot of details recorded in the diary, but it didn't say in detail where the treasure was. She felt that Chen Wei's father had found the location of the treasure, but he didn't want to say it. After all, it was her painstaking effort, and she didn't want to waste it. So, Chen Wei's father gave her the diary, but he didn't mention the name. He just wanted to let it go. Baiya studied until 9 o'clock in the morning. Maybe it was because she didn't sleep well for the past few days, or maybe it was because she was injected with the virus, but her heart was aching. She put the diary in her bag, walked to the window, and looked outside. It was sunny and windy outside. It looked like a bright and beautiful day. She didn't know if Gu Lingqing could be released under such good weather. Her phone rang. She saw that it was Su Jiaran and answered it. If I let Gu Lingqing out, will you stay by my side with all your heart? Su Jiaran wanted to confirm this one last time. Of course, I have nowhere to go. In order to make my lie believable, I have to stay by your side, Baiya said coldly. He will be released in the morning. Baiya, don't do anything that you will regret. Otherwise, I won't let you go next time. Su Jiaran warned sternly and hung up the phone. Did she get Su Jiaran's promise? Baiya's heart, which had been tangled for the whole night, could finally calm down. She put the phone on the bedside table and lay down on the bed. She closed her eyes. She was so sleepy that she fell asleep after a while. She was woken up by the ringing of her phone. Baiya looked at the time. It was 15 o'clock in the afternoon. She looked at the caller ID, and it was still Su Jiaran. She answered the phone with a headache. What's wrong? Where is he? Gu Lingqing has been released. Su Jiaran said coldly. Oh, his matters have nothing to do with me in the future. You don't need to tell me. I still need to sleep. I'll contact you when I wake up. Where are we going to sleep? Do you want me to accompany you? Su Jiaran said evilly. Baiya could tell that he was teasing her. I'm not joking with you. Let's talk again at 17 o'clock. I'll treat you to dinner. After Baiya finished speaking, he didn't give Su Jiaran any chance to speak and hung up the phone. He continued to lie on the bed in a daze for a while, but he couldn't sleep anymore. She wanted to find the murderer of the village as soon as possible. She got up and walked into the bathroom to take a shower. After changing into a dry striped shirt, she casually wiped her wet hair with a towel and walked out. There was a knock on the door. "Who?" Baya asked. "I'm cleaning the guest room." The waiter's voice came through. "Wait." Baya opened the door. The waiter looked to the side. Su Jiaran walked over with a bouquet of roses and handed it to Baya. A devilish smile appeared on his face. "You know, even if you hide at the ends of the earth, I can still find you." "What about hiding in hell? Do you dare to go with me?" Baya asked back. Her eyes were cold, as if they were laced with poison. It was extremely cold. "If you go to hell, I'll follow you there. If you go to heaven, I'll kill a god. Are you satisfied with this answer?" Su Jiaran asked. He walked past Baya and went to her room. He casually threw the flowers on the coffee table and leaned against the sofa lazily. He looked at Baya coldly and ordered, "Eat." Baya didn't close the door. She sat opposite Su Jiaran. "About the treasure, tell me about it. Don't try to lie to me," Su Jiaran warned. 3 years ago, Gu Lingqing and I went to Tangqian village and found Tang Xiaojiu, the person who killed Governor Cheng. He told me a secret. Back then, 5 people massacred his entire village just for a treasure and a treasure map. That piece of land is the place where the treasure is hidden. Su Jiaran didn't believe it. "I guess so. I know a person who massacred the entire village. He owns a construction company and wants to buy that piece of land. So I told Gu Lingqing to buy that piece of land. As for whether that piece of land is the place where the treasure is hidden, I'm not completely sure," Baya said. "Half." She hid half of it and wouldn't tell Su Jiaran everything. "The person you're talking about is in Luliang City?" Su Jiaran was doubtful. "Yes." Baya didn't deny it. "No wonder Gu Lingqing is investigating Luliang City." "I know." Su Jiaran stood up. "I'll bring you to buy some clothes and find a beauty salon to do your face. You're almost 30, so you should take good care of yourself." Baya looked down. She was only 27 years old this year. She was not even 30 yet. Did it count as an untimely death? "Okay, I also have something to discuss with you." Baya was easy to talk to. Su Jiaran put his arm around Baya's waist and pulled her to his side. He looked at her with a burning gaze. "What do you want to discuss with me?" "I have a project that I want to continue. In about 3 months, I've accepted a month's worth of money from others," Baya said softly. Because she needed his help, she didn't struggle to push him away for the first time. Su Jiaran didn't say anything. He gently moved the hair in front of Baya's forehead to one side. He lowered his head and kissed Baya's forehead. "Isn't this good? We can talk and get along with each other calmly. Life will pass very quickly. So, do you agree or not?" Baya stared at him and asked. "Baya, I really don't want you to have any crooked ideas anymore." Su Jiaran rejected her tactfully. "I'm not having crooked ideas. It's just that I've already promised someone and accepted their money. Isn't going back on your word something you always do? You can just return the money. If it's not enough, you can ask me for more." Su Jiaran laughed as if he had seen through her. Baya was helpless. "Give me 3 months. I'll work on this project. When I come back after 3 months, I can live as a married couple." Su Jiaran's eyes flashed with ecstasy. His heart was beating wildly. The temptation of living as a married couple with him was too great for him. "Are you serious?" Su Jiaran couldn't believe it. "I don't need to lie to you. If I go back on my word after 3 months, you can just use force. I won't be able to escape from your palm, right?" Baya negotiated rationally. She would die after 3 months. She wasn't afraid of Su Jiaran using force at all. Su Jiaran looked at Baya's determined gaze. He asked suspiciously, "Have you really thought it through? You'll be with me in the future?" "It's not that I've thought it through. I'm just helpless and powerless." Su Jiaran's gaze turned cold. "At least you know what's good for you. Let's go." Chapter 254. Baya shuddered and turned around instinctively. Su Jiaran grabbed her arm and didn't let her go. Baya suddenly felt the pressure on her body. She didn't want to face Gu Lingqing, nor did she want to face Gu Lingqing's family. She could imagine what they would say about her. She was afraid that she would act up on the spot. She cared about her reputation very, very much. She looked at Su Jiaran with pleading eyes and shook her head. Her body was trembling. "Let me go." Not only did Su Jiaran not let her go, he even hugged her shoulders and went into the den together. She had nowhere to retreat. Her face was pale and she clenched her fists tightly. Baya, please don't act up." She didn't want to be treated as a lunatic, especially in public. She was so scared. It was as if she was the only one in this world, facing the raging waves and no one would save her. The longer she stayed there, the more panic she felt. She couldn't bear the strong psychological pressure and would rather run away. She tried to retreat, but Su Jiaran was too strong. She couldn't break free at all and was forcefully pushed to the front. She lowered her eyes and didn't dare to look at anyone. "Gu Lingqing, the innocent will know." "I believe you can definitely come out," Su Jiaran said. Gu Lingqing's sharp eyes glanced at Baya. Baya lowered her eyes. She couldn't hear, couldn't see, and didn't want to feel. Just like that, she slowly emptied her mind. "Our Lingqing is definitely innocent. It's just that some people are greedy for wealth and profit." "Did they make a mistake?" "This result is good, very good," Song Shiyu said. "Baya, what's wrong with you?" "You are with me." Su Jiaran again. Su Shaoling said in surprise, looking at the hatred in Gu Lingqing's eyes. She could not see it clearly. Xiong Daini also noticed that Su Jiaran was holding Baya's shoulder. She was no longer calm. She pointed at Baya's nose and scolded. "What's going on? This pair of broken shoes. One moment she's with this man, the next moment she's with that man, the next moment, she's so cheap that everyone already knows. If you want her to be your wife, just pretend that I didn't. You son." "Mom, you've misunderstood Xiaoya. She has always loved me." Su Jiaran smiled evilly and tightened his grip on Baya's hand. Baya snapped out of his daze and looked at Su Jiaran. She hadn't heard a single word of what they had said just now. His heart skipped a beat. Could it be that she was already like her mother, unable to sense what was happening outside? She had to leave. She could not stay here. "I still have something to do. I want to leave first." "Xiaoya, don't be afraid. You are my woman. I will protect you. These people will always see you. Running away is not a solution." Su Jiaran smiled. But she felt that her smile was like a knife. "Jiaran, are you crazy? You still want this kind of woman?" Xiong Daini was very agitated. "Mom, Xiaoya really loves me. I am very sure now that I promised her to stay by my side. I don't want to go back on my words. Don't target Xiaoya in the future." "You are embarrassing me by targeting her," Su Jiaran said directly to Xiong Daini. Xiong Daini was speechless, but she was still very angry. She picked up the red wine on the table and splashed it on Baya's face. "T6, how dare you come here? Ma. If you embarrass her, you are embarrassing me." Su Jiaran went to get a napkin to wipe Baya's face. Baya saw their disdainful gazes. She did not dare to look at Gu Lingqing. If she acted up here, they would definitely despise and disgust her even more. They might even lock her up in a mental hospital. "Sorry, I have to go," Baya said in a trembling voice. She turned and ran forward quickly. She was afraid that Su Jiaran would catch up to her and she would embarrass herself. She kept on running from day to night, from night to day, from day to night, from night to day, from day to night, and from night to day again. Beep, beep, beep. The loudspeaker beeped very loudly. Baya came to her senses and looked at the huge truck that was coming towards her. She stood there without moving. The truck stopped 10 centimeters away from her. The driver scolded. "Are you crazy? Do you want to die? Can't you hear how many times I honked the horn? If you don't want to live, go jump into the river. Why are you trying to harm me?" I'm sorry, Baya said softly. The truck driver jumped down from the truck and looked at Baya from head to toe. His eyes flashed with a devious light. "Where are you going? Why are you here alone?" Baya could tell that he was up to no good. "I'm here to visit my relatives. I have an appointment with them. It's just up ahead." "Your relatives aren't coming to pick you up. It's dangerous for a girl like you to be outside. Where is your relative's house?" "Let me send you there," the truck driver said as he came over to hold Baya's hand. Baya pushed the driver's hand away defensively. Don't touch me. I don't need you to send me. I've already called my relatives. They'll come and pick me up immediately. The truck driver saw that there was no one around and forcefully carried Baya. Baya grabbed the side of the truck and did not let the driver bring her up. Help! 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 Baya shouted. A car stopped in front of Baya. Don't bother. This is a matter between us. No one is to interfere, the truck driver shouted fiercely at the driver. I'm not his wife. He kidnapped me halfway. Ask him if he knows my name, Baya said anxiously. The driver got out of the car and said to the truck driver, I'm a police officer. Are you two husband and wife? What's your relationship? Come with me to the police station. When the truck driver saw that the police were here, he quickly pushed Baya away, climbed into the car and ran away. Baya was pushed to the ground. The driver wanted to take a picture of the truck driver's license plate. However, it was all gray and he couldn't see anything. Are you okay? The driver asked. Baya shook her head. I'm fine. Thank you for saving me. Baya wanted to take out her name card. She realized that she didn't even have her bag anymore. Her phone, identification, and wallet were all in the bag. However, she couldn't remember how the bag disappeared. Her condition seemed to be getting worse. She was really afraid that she wouldn't be able to hold on for 3 months. She didn't want to be like her mother. She ate, drank, and defecated on the bed. People even peeped at her through the glass window. She didn't want to live anymore. Tang Xiaojiu, the massacre case, the treasure map. She didn't have the ability to deal with them. She couldn't even deal with her own matters. She was like a lone star. Whoever got close to her would be unlucky. Pretty lady, can you hear me? The driver shouted. Chapter 255. The driver noticed the change in Baya's expression. You don't have to thank me. It's nothing. Where is your family? Do you remember their phone number? Let me make a call for you. Family. Baya repeated the word. Her parents were still alive, but she could not contact them. Her husband, or rather, her ex-husband, could not be contacted either. She seemed to have no family. Thank you for your kindness, but I can handle it myself. Thank you very much, Baya said with a smile. Where are you going? Let me send you there. The driver was worried about a woman like her in the wilderness. Is Jinyuan City far from here? Baya asked. Not far. It's about an hour's drive. I'm going back to Jinyuan City anyway. Let me send you there, the driver said. Thank you. Baya nodded. The driver opened the door. Baya got into the car and looked out of the window. It turned out that when she was crazy, she also wanted to go to Jinyuan City. Her illness was not light at all. May I know what day is it today? Baya asked softly. The driver looked at Baya with a strange expression. Sunday. That meant she had been out for 3 days. 3 days, but she could not remember what she had done. She could not afford to be agitated any further. Otherwise, she would not be able to do what she wanted to do if her illness continued for a few more days. No one would have guessed that a famous psychologist was a lunatic herself. Perhaps she was a lunatic herself. That was why she had an easier time in the field of psychology than others. The driver looked at Baya in a daze. You are penniless, and you have lost your phone. Do you really not need me to make a call for you? Baya looked at the driver. I have a friend in Jinyuan City. I don't remember his number, but I know where to find him. All right then. The car soon arrived at Jinyuan City. Where is your friend's house? Let me send you there, the driver said kindly. In Chen Village. The exact location is about 500 meters behind the shopping center, Baya recalled. As soon as you say the shopping center, I know where it is. The driver kindly sent Baya to Chen Wei's house. The door of Chen Wei's house was closed. Baya knocked on the door for a while, but no one answered. Is no one home? The driver asked. Why don't I book a hotel for you? You can check in first and wait for your friend to come back. No need. Can you send me to the nearby police station? They should have my friend's number with them. Baya was actually embarrassed that he kept troubling others. Police station? Well, It seems like I have to report to the old bureau chief in advance. Baya was surprised. Are you really a police officer? I thought you said that to scare the truck driver. The driver smiled. Right now I don't think so. My name is Chen Bin. Let's go. I'll take you to the police station. Baya went to the police station. A lot of people at the police station knew her. Expert Bai, why are you here? A policeman asked. I went back to City A and my bag was stolen. My mobile phone and ID are all in it. I want to get the mobile phone number of my friend, who is Chen Wei's ex-boyfriend. He should have registered his mobile phone number, Bai Yao explained softly. Yes. Expert Bai, please wait. I'll go check it now. The policeman enthusiastically left. Do you still remember where your bag was stolen? Chen Bin asked with concern. Baya shook her head. I don't remember. I'll wait until I get in touch with my friend. Okay. Sorry for troubling you today. Can you give me your number? Baya smiled. The smile was very faint. It was just a courtesy. Chen Bin wrote his number on the paper and passed it to Baya. Baya took it. When the bureau chief heard that Baya had arrived, he specially came out to welcome her. When he saw Chen Bin, his eyes lit up. Deputy Secretary Chen, it's an honor to meet you. Why are you here? I took a month's leave, Chen Bin said politely. I received news that I'll retire in a month and you'll come back to take over my position. Is this true? The bureau chief asked. The transfer order hasn't come out yet. I don't know either. If there's any news, I'll inform you immediately, Chen Bin said politely. All right, I'll treat you to a meal. The bureau chief held Chen Bin's hand and looked at Baya. I didn't expect Expert Bai to come back. I hope you can come back more often. Our police station will definitely cooperate with you. Baya just nodded and didn't say anything. Expert Bai, I found it. The policeman ran over and passed the note to Baya. Thank you. Baya dialed the number on her phone. Hello. Cheng Jinrong's voice came from the other end of the phone. Hello, I'm Baya. I'm at the police station now. Can you come over? My bag, phone, and identification are all missing. I might have to trouble you for a few days, Baya explained. Wait for me for half an hour. I'll come over now. Cheng Jinrong hung up the phone and stood up. He said to the conference room, meeting adjourned. He picked up his suit and ran out while putting it on. Baya sat in the reception room and waited. Chen Bin poured her a cup of hot tea. The bureau chief told me about your deeds just now. I even Baidu you. So you're a famous psychologist. Nice to meet you. If it weren't for you, this psychologist would probably be reported to the higher-ups soon. The importance of mental and physical strength, Baya said jokingly. Chen Bin also laughed. Half an hour later, Cheng Jinrong came over and said with concern, Why are you in such a sorry state? But I'm very happy that you called me. Let's go. You don't have an identification card, so you might not be able to stay in the hotel. Stay at my house for now. Thank you. It's my pleasure. Since your identification card has been changed, you'll have to go to the local police station to get a new one. I'll see if I can get your information and get a temporary identification card. You can also get a bank card or something, Chen Bin said warmly. Baya smiled. In this world, there were more good people than bad. Thank you. I'll treat you to a meal after I get a new bank card. Okay. I'll wait for your call, Chen Bin said with a smile. Cheng Jinrong took another look at Chen Bin. In the car. You don't have a change of clothes now, right? I'll take you to the nearby shopping center to buy some, Cheng Jinrong said carefully. Thank you. Cheng Jinrong smiled. You've thanked me many times today. It's what I should do. This is just a small matter. Are you going to visit Governor Lu's house in Jinyuan City this time? Or are you going back to a city? Baya shook her head. I want to rest for a day or two. All right. I'll take you around Jinyuan City. By the way, aren't you going to be a tutor at Governor Lu's house? I found a house near his house. It's convenient for you to go there. Chapter 256. The night had arrived. Baya stood by the window and looked at the stars outside. In her understanding, The reason why people worked hard to live was not because they wanted to enjoy themselves every day. Most of the time it was because of a responsibility. Worried that if she died, she would not be able to fulfill her filial duties. Worried that if she died, what would happen to her child? Worried that if she died, how would her partner continue to live? As for her, she had her parents. Her father's family had nothing to do with her anymore. She had already made arrangements for her mother. At least, she could live a carefree life in the sanatorium. She had a child, but this child might have died a few years ago. Even if he did not die, she would not be able to find him. She once had a partner. Now, Gu Lingqing hated her to the core. She had someone to accompany her until she died. She also hated Su Jiaran to the core. She hoped that they would never meet again in this life. Now, she had two responsibilities. One, she promised LV Xingzhou to take care of his child. She had already received the money. The second was to find the murderer of Tangqian village. As for finding the murderer of Tangqian village, she probably could not do it. Sorry, Tang Xiaojiu. Even if she could not do it, she did not want to live anymore. As for Lu Shuang, she had also thought that she would disappear and not let them know that she was dead. She had walked around the world once. There was more sadness than happiness. The pain in her heart was already unbearable. That was why her illness was getting worse. She was a hedgehog. Even if she knew that she was sick, she still tried hard not to let others know. She did not want others to look down on her. She did not want others to pity her. She did not want others to talk about her illness behind her back. She could not afford to lose face. Knock, knock, knock. There was a knock on the door. Baiya turned around and opened the door. Cheng Jinrong stood at the door. Can I talk to you? I have been in a bad mood recently. Chen Wei's parents moved away. I think they will never forgive me. If they never forgive you, what will you do? Baiya asked softly. I don't know what to do. It's all my fault. Cheng Jinrong said guiltily. There are many couples in the world who get together and then break up, and then find a new boyfriend and girlfriend. Yang Ni's character is just an example. The choice you made in Fuchin was not wrong. If you can feel guilty and blame yourself, it means that you are a responsible person who can change and improve. Let me ask you, if Chen Wei's parents don't forgive you, what would they want you to do? Baiya asked back. They probably moved away because they didn't want to see me. Cheng Jinrong lowered his eyes gloomily. You're right. Many people feel that they're in the wrong, so they want others to forgive them. The one who died was their own daughter, so it's impossible to forgive them. Why force others to do something that's beyond their control? If you think you're wrong, you should do what they want you to do. That's what you should do, understand? Baiya asked. You mean, if I don't go see them and ask for their forgiveness, I'll disappear and not let them see me? Cheng Jinrong asked, confused. Firstly, although you have your reasons for this matter, it's not the deciding factor. Secondly, we shouldn't blindly think about what we want in order to obtain others' forgiveness, but we should think about what others want. Until one day, when they want to forgive you, they will contact you. So, in order for them to be able to contact you, you must live well and live healthily. Baiya suggested. I understand. Listening to you, I have a feeling of enlightenment. Cheng Jinrong praised. Dong dong dong. A knocking sound came from the door. Cheng Jinrong looked out from the peephole and saw a man with a strong aura. He opened the door in confusion. Let Baiya out. Gu Lingqing directly ordered. Cheng Jinrong looked at Gu Lingqing suspiciously. Baiya heard Gu Lingqing's voice and subconsciously came out of the room. You go out first. Gu Lingqing ordered Cheng Jinrong. Cheng Jinrong felt that Gu Lingqing was too intimidating. He had a charisma that made people submit to him. He looked at Baiya and asked for Baiya's opinion. Baiya didn't want to see Gu Lingqing, but Cheng Jinrong wasn't his match. She would only drag Cheng Jinrong down. She nodded at Cheng Jinrong. Cheng Jinrong went out. Baiya lowered her eyes and shivered a few times. She couldn't be as crazy as the last time. What does this mean? Gu Lingqing questioned and threw the diary in front of Baiya. Baiya didn't understand. Why is this diary with you? Didn't you send it to me? Don't play dumb. I went to the post office to check the surveillance cameras. It was you who sent it. You threw the bag into the bin after sending it, Gu Lingqing questioned sternly. Then where is my bag now? Baya asked. Gu Lingqing looked at her with a burning gaze and narrowed his eyes. Baya, what the hell are you doing? How did you find me? Baya asked, skipping over Gu Lingqing's question. You turned off your phone and lost your bag because you didn't want me to find you? Then you shouldn't have appeared in Jin Yuan. Jin Yuan set up a trap for me. Tell me, what do you want? Gu Lingqing said sternly. She didn't know what the irrational Baya wanted to do. She had no impression of what he said. No matter what I did, you ignored it. Don't bother. If you want to hate me and deal with me, come at me, Baya said resolutely. Gu Lingqing grabbed Baya's shoulder and pushed her against the wall. He looked at her with bloodshot eyes. If I wanted to deal with you, you should have died the day I came out. Let me ask you, did you and Su Jiaran come to some agreement? He asked you to divorce me and then let me go, right? Baya's eyes suddenly trembled. She was really grateful and glad that Gu Lingqing still believed in her until now. With his trust, she could die without regrets. However, she was very sick now. She didn't want to be a burden to him anymore. She didn't want him to be criticized behind his back because of her and ruin his bright future. Moreover, her life was in Su Jiaran's hands. She didn't want to become his weakness and let Su Jiaran hurt him as he pleased. Gu Lingqing, don't be silly. If what you said is true and you came out now, why can't I be with you? Wake up. I'm really with Su Jiaran now. There's no turning back. He must have threatened you with something. What is it? Our child? Or something else? Tell me. Believe me, no matter what the problem is, I can solve it. With every sentence that Gu Lingqing said, his grip on her shoulder tightened. She believed in his ability. So between the child and him she still chose him. However, it wasn't something that could be solved with his ability. No one would ever cure her illness. Chapter 257. Gu Lingqing, I asked you to sign the agreement and marry Zhou Hailan because I don't want you to pester me anymore. I really have a hard time being with Su Jiaran. If you still have a little bit of pity for me, please let me go. Baya said in a low voice with a pleading tone. A crack appeared in Gu Lingqing's eyes, and he showed a painful expression without reservation. Seeing him in pain, her heart hurt even more, as if it had been dug out, leaving only a hole. She knew that her character was very problematic. She was silent, cold and indifferent, not sunny, not positive, with a strong sense of defense, and liked to get into a dead end. What did she do to deserve Gu Lingqing's love? She had no regrets in her life. Even if she died, she would die with the warmth he gave her. She was satisfied. From the beginning to the end, God had never been kind to her. Perhaps the greatest kindness she had done was to let go of Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing was really a good person. He was brave, responsible, and full of a sense of justice. He deserved better. Let me ask you one last question. Have you ever loved me? Gu Lingqing asked in a low voice. He was not calm. He tightened his jaw, stared at her with flames in his eyes, and clenched his fists tightly. No. Baya said clearly. Gu Lingqing stared at her, and his flames became cold, as if the coldness of December was covering. In the sky of ice and fire. Baya, I will ask you one more time. Think carefully and answer me. Otherwise, no matter whether you really saved me and made a deal with Su Jiaran or not, I will never forgive you. Think carefully. Gu Lingqing was not calm, and his breathing was uneven. Baya raised her chin and made a decision. She looked at his cold eyes and said coldly, I don't care whether you forgive me or not. Gu Lingqing lowered his hand and smashed the vase next to him on the ground. The vase hit the ground with a bang. Baya's eyes did not even waver. Cheng Jinrong heard the noise outside and opened the door worriedly. Gu Lingqing pushed Cheng Jinrong away with great strength and strode out. She knew that from today on, she had lost the person she loved the most and the person who loved her the most. Tears finally rolled down her cheeks. What's wrong? Cheng Jinrong asked with concern. Baya looked in the direction where Gu Lingqing had disappeared. I love him. I love him very much. The corners of her mouth twitched, and she smiled bitterly as she picked up the notebook from the floor. Then, she turned around and walked into her room. Cheng Jinrong stayed in the living room, confused. Women, even if they knew that they had made the right choice, they would still feel sad. That kind of sadness was overwhelming, like a flood, almost drowning her. She could only wail bitterly. She wanted to smash something to vent her anger, so she clenched her fists tightly. She knew that she was not in the right state, but she could not control herself at all. He had the urge to smash something. She tried her best to hug her head and squat on the floor, but she still could not control the anger that came from her heart and rushed straight to her brain. She did not want to be a lunatic. Who could help her? They did not need to save her life, they just needed to give her a clear mind. Ah! She screamed, looking at the heavens pleadingly. Unfortunately, the heavens did not let her go. Cheng Jinrong heard Bai Ya's screams. Then, there was the sound of things being thrown and smashed in the room. He knocked on the door worriedly. Bai Ya, are you okay? Bai Ya opened the door and stood at the door, looking at Cheng Jinrong coldly. Cheng Jinrong looked at the mess in the room and looked at Bai Ya in surprise. All the compensation is on me. I have something to do now, lend me your phone for a while, Bai Ya said calmly. Cheng Jinrong felt that the current Bai Ya was a little strange. It was indescribably weird, so he passed the phone to Bai Ya. Bai Ya skillfully dialed a set of numbers. Gu Lingqing picked up and said angrily, "What is it? Listen up, I sent you that notebook. You lost some of your memories, so I'll give it to you. When Governor Cheng was assassinated, Su Zhang suspected that you were the culprit because your father asked Governor Cheng for a piece of land. Su Zhang used this to threaten you to marry Su Shaoling. You and Bai Ya went to Tangqian village and found Tang Xiaojiu. Before Tang Xiaojiu was assassinated, he gave the video of him assassinating Governor Cheng to Bai Ya. You and Bai Ya promised Tang Xiaojiu to help him find the culprit. But I think that Bai Ya was just helping you clear your name. Finding the culprit is your business. The address of the treasure map is written on the notebook. Come and take the notebook. From now on, leave Bai Ya's world. Maybe she can live a little longer." Gu Lingqing listened to Bai Ya's voice and asked in surprise, "Who are you?" Bai Ya's lips twitched. "I'm the person who protects Bai Ya. In the future, none of you can think about hurting her." After Bai Ya said that, he hung up. Cheng Jinrong looked at Bai Ya in surprise. "What's wrong with you? Why does it feel like it's another person?" Bai Ya continued Cheng Jinrong's sentence. "You said that you're the person who protects Bai Ya." Cheng Jinrong voiced out his opinion. "I guess so. Self-protection. Is there a problem with that?" Bai Ya asked. Cheng Jinrong was actually speechless. He had seen a movie called Deadly ID before. It was about a split personality. When a person had a split personality, they couldn't remember what happened. However, a person with a split personality could remember everything clearly. "I'm going to wash my face," Bai Ya said. She returned the phone to Cheng Jinrong and closed the door. She walked into the bathroom and washed her face. She looked at her anxiously in the mirror and tapped her fingers on the sink. "Bai Ya, have a good rest. You won't feel pain, despair, sadness, and helplessness anymore. Leave the rest to me. I will do everything you want me to do. According to your wish, I'll leave with you 3 months later. Don't worry. No one in this world can protect you or be your support. I'll protect you and I'll never leave you." Knock. 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 There was an anxious knock on the door from outside. Bai Ya looked at the door and curled her lips. She opened the door and went out. Gu Lingqing rushed in and held Bai Ya's shoulder. He said excitedly, "What did you mean by what you said just now?" Bai Ya passed the notebook in her hand to him. "Do what you have to do. Also, please return my bag to me. You lost the bag. Do you want to go back now?" Chapter 258. Bai Ya stared at Gu Lingqing and raised his chin. His gaze was cold and calm. It was as if he was talking about someone else's business. Su Jiaran is the source of Bai Ya's pain. How can it be love? Similarly, you are also the source of Bai Ya's pain. So there's no need to see each other again, Bai Ya said coldly. Gu Lingqing narrowed his eyes and scrutinized Bai Ya. "Did you make a deal with Su Jiaran? Aren't you very smart? Go investigate it yourself. But I suggest that you stop here. There's no benefit for you if you continue to investigate. It'll only bring you pain. Bai Ya's lips twitched. He was exceptionally cold. Gu Lingqing stood there without saying anything. The atmosphere suddenly became cold. Cheng Jinrong cleared his throat and said to Gu Lingqing, "Well, let me send you down." "Don't forget to return my bag to me," Bai Ya reminded him. Gu Lingqing glanced at her and went out. Cheng Jinrong followed behind him. "Well, can I talk to you for a while?" Gu Lingqing turned around and looked at Cheng Jinrong. He stayed silent and waited for him to speak. "There's a detail that I want to tell you. When you left, Bai Ya told me that she loved you. She loved you very, very much. Then, she was in a very bad state of mind. When she entered the room, I heard the sound of her smashing things and crying. Then, it evolved into helpless whimpers. I was worried about her, so I knocked on the door. She opened the door as if she had become a different person. I suspect that she has a split personality." Cheng Jinrong voiced his thoughts. Gu Lingqing recalled the medicine that Bai Ya had been taking. She had always had a mental problem. He remembered that once when she thought that he was with Zhou Hailan, she also smashed things. What Bai Ya said to him today was indeed very strange. She addressed Bai Ya, as if she was no longer Bai Ya. Moreover, what she revealed confirmed his speculation that Bai Ya had really made a deal with Su Jieran. Was the deal for her to go to Su Jieran's side? Gu Lingqing's Adam's apple bobbed up and down. His eyes were filled with pity for Bai Ya. "Let me ask you. Do you want to buy that piece of land because you think there are treasures under it?" Gu Lingqing asked directly. Cheng Jinrong paused. He had overheard the conversation between Bai Ya and Gu Lingqing. They were talking about the treasure. He felt that the two things were related. Now that the land had been expropriated by the military, he had nothing to hide. "Yes, my ex-girlfriend's father is in the field of ancient geology. He told me that there is treasure under that piece of land and asked me to buy it," Cheng Jinrong explained. "Then, where is your current girlfriend's father?" Gu Lingqing continued to ask. "Last week, my ex-girlfriend was killed. Because I was part of the reason, my uncle chose to leave. I don't know where he is now," Cheng Jinrong said gloomily. Suddenly, he recalled something. "Oh, can I take a look at the diary that Bai Ya gave you?" Gu Lingqing passed the diary to Cheng Jinrong. Cheng Jinrong flipped through a few pages. "It is indeed my uncle's diary. Could it be that he gave it to Bai Ya to thank her for solving the case?" "Do you still remember when Bai Ya solved the case?" Gu Lingqing asked as if the truth was about to be revealed. "Just a few days ago. The day she came to Jinyuan City, my ex-girlfriend was killed. The next day, she solved the case. The next day, when I went to pick her up, she was in a bad mood. She insisted on going to the land. After confirming that it had been expropriated, she kept crying while looking out the window. I asked her what happened, but she refused to tell me. She only said that she was going to the police station. She even threw her phone away and changed her phone number," Cheng Jinrong said. He understood now. He was taken away by the Special Discipline Inspection Team on the same day that Bai Ya left Jinyuan City. It should be the next day, when Su Jieran threatened Bai Ya. Bai Ya solved the case and got the real address of the treasure. She rushed back on the same day that she solved the case. She met him in the wee hours of the morning and asked for a divorce. The next day he was released. Bai Ya's conversation with him at the beginning was to test if he could come out. When she was sure that he could not come out, she must be very desperate. That was why she decided to make a deal with Su Jieran. If he guessed correctly, Bai Ya's deal was to marry him and let him marry Zhou Hailan. Gu Lingqing wanted to talk to Bai Ya. He would not marry Zhou Hailan. Even if they signed the agreement, he would not get a marriage certificate. Cheng Jinrong stood in front of Gu Lingqing and suggested, "She is no longer the Bai Ya from before. I suggest you ask her about the situation first. The more you force her, the more she will resist. I know that a very good psychologist will be coming from America for a seminar. Do you want to know more about it?" Gu Lingqing stopped in his tracks. He lowered his gaze and looked at Cheng Jinrong. "Give me that expert's phone number first. I don't have it, but I can ask my friend for it. What's your number? I'll send it to you when I get it. Also, Bai Ya is staying with me now. If anything happens, I can call you," Cheng Jinrong said warmly. "Thank you," Gu Lingqing said sincerely. Cheng Jinrong smiled. I didn't cherish her in the past. That's why my girlfriend died. I think you love each other. I hope you can be together. Thank you. Gu Lingqing stayed in a hotel nearby using a virtual ID. At 10 o'clock in the evening, he got Su Chonghe Mike as contact information and called him. Hello, I want to ask you about dissociative identity disorder. Is it convenient for you now? Gu Lingqing asked directly. If it's a consultation, I need to make an appointment. I'm sorry, Su Chonghe rejected politely. I only need to consult you over the phone. I'll pay you double the usual fee. Give me your account number. I'll transfer the fee to you for an hour. Su Chonghe paused. Then you can consult me first. I'll collect the fee after the consultation. My friend has dissociative identity disorder. I want to understand the condition, cause, and treatment in detail, Gu Lingqing said. There are many reasons for dissociative identity disorder. Most people are autistic, irritable, depressed, and anxious. At the same time, they have low self-esteem and are timid. They envy others and want to be like them. Under certain circumstances or factors, their personality changes drastically and they become like another person. This kind of mental illness is different from pretending. The person doesn't remember what happened after the dissociative identity disorder, but the person with the dissociative identity disorder remembers what happened before, Su Chonghe explained. Chapter 259. Junior sister? Baya flashed across Gu Lingqing's mind. Yes. The general meaning of her paper is that many mental illnesses originate from pain. Mental patients use various emotions and symptoms to vent this pain, such as grumpiness, smashing things, self-harm, hurting others, dementia, forgetfulness, and even split personality. If a mental patient can forget the pain of the past, although they will lose part of their memory, they will slowly recover and live a normal life. She is committed to hypnosis to let the mental patients forget the source of the pain of the past. She has cured many deep mental patients. You can try it with her. She is very famous in the industry. Su Chonghe recommended. Split personality is a split personality that comes from feeling pain. Hypnosis may not work. What should I do? Gu Lingqing asked gloomily. My junior sister once treated a patient with a split personality. Through hypnosis, she found the true self hidden inside, escaping from reality and pain. She can talk to the hidden self and guide it. You can try it with her. What's her name? Gu Lingqing asked. Baya. I'll give you her number later. Su Chonghe said warmly. Gu Lingqing's heart sank to the bottom. He felt the taste of despair. What if the psychiatrist herself has split personality? What should I do? Is it more difficult to cure a psychiatrist's split personality? Gu Lingqing was worried. Well, I haven't encountered such a case yet. But my junior sister tried to hypnotize herself, but she failed. She said that because she is a psychiatrist, she can use psychological suggestions. So it's difficult to succeed. If a person with split personality is a psychiatrist, it will indeed be more difficult. I'll give you my junior sister's number later. You can consult her. She is better at this than I am. Su Chonghe said modestly. Okay, I got it. Thank you. You can see how much money you need. I'll transfer it to your account. Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice and looked forward. I can't help you. I don't need the consultation fee. I have a seminar in City next Sunday. You can come. I'll send you the address. Su Chonghe smiled. Okay, send it to me. Gu Lingqing hung up the phone. He walked to the window and looked in the direction of Cheng Jinrong's house, his eyes as dark as ink. She went to Su Jiaron's side and took his place. It was too painful, so she chose to escape. Even if she gave up on him, he would never give up on her again. Early the next morning Gu Lingqing went to Cheng Jinrong's house and knocked on the door. When Cheng Jinrong opened the door and saw Gu Lingqing, he smiled and reminded, she still hasn't woken up. I'm going to work now. I bought her breakfast and put it on the dining table. It might be cold by the time she wakes up. I'll take care of him, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Cheng Jinrong patted Gu Lingqing's shoulder and left the room. Gu Lingqing sat on the sofa and searched for many things he wanted to know on Baidu. However, because the things he wanted to know were very obscure, there were very few people who knew about it. Even if someone answered him, it was just the tip of the iceberg. There were very few experts in the field of mental health. Baya slept until noon before she got up. After she got up, she brushed her teeth, washed her face, changed into bright clothes and came out of the room. When she saw Gu Lingqing, she was slightly stunned and smiled. "You're looking for me? I've brought your bag here. Also, I want you to know that I've lost part of my memory. You're an expert in psychology. I want you to help me get my memory back. How much do you need? Name a price." Gu Lingqing looked at her deeply. "Your memory loss might be due to the damage to your neurons. To put it bluntly, it's a hardware problem, not a mental problem. You need to see a neurologist." Baya saw her bag on the sofa, picked it up and took out her phone. Her phone was switched off. "I've seen a neurologist. There's no problem with it. What I need is mental treatment. Please help me," Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. His deep eyes were watery. Baya looked at him and was silent for 3 seconds. "I've already accepted the job of treating LV Xingzhou's son. I know it's Monday to Friday. I have Saturday and Sunday. I can wait." Gu Lingqing interrupted her. "You," Baya paused. "Is this entanglement?" "It's protection," Gu Lingqing corrected her. Baya was stunned for a moment. Her eyes were covered with a foggy veil. "Let me think about it." "All right." Gu Lingqing stood up. "I'll treat you to a meal first." "I have money for a meal." "Sorry, there's no need for a meal. I still have things to do. I won't be sending you off," Baya said coldly. Gu Lingqing's Adam's apple moved. He swallowed hard. "I hope you know one thing. Even if the whole world abandons you, I won't. If it's tiring, I'll wait for you forever. A month, a year, a lifetime." There was a strange look in Baya's eyes. She watched as Gu Lingqing turned around and walked out of the room. She lowered her eyes and placed her hand over her heart. She muttered to herself, "You feel pain, don't you? A lifetime? It's a pity that you won't live for even a year. I won't drag him down. Don't worry." Baya released her hand from her heart. Her eyes were moist. She switched on her phone. His phone was buzzing with incoming call notifications. She dialed Su Jiaron's number without looking at any messages. "Where are you? Do you want to die?" Su Jiaron roared angrily. "I'm in Jinyuan City now. I came here on foot. Do you believe me?" Baya said calmly. "From now on, I won't allow you to turn off your phone. I won't allow you to ignore my calls. When I want to see you, you have to come and see me. Do you hear me?" Su Jiaron ordered anxiously. Baya smiled. She didn't care about his anger and order at all. "Su Jiaron, I miss you. Can you come to Jinyuan City to see me today?" Su Jiaron was stunned. "What did you say? You miss me?" "Yeah, I've been thinking a lot these days. From you appearing at my school gate, giving me flowers, helping me find a job, taking my mother out of the sanatorium, marrying me, to your betrayal, making me give up, and your protection in the past 3 years, I want to fall in love with you again, but I don't want to be with you," Baya said calmly. "Is what you said true or false?" Su Jiaron couldn't believe it. "If you believe it, it's true. If you don't believe it, it's false. Whether it's true or false, it's up to you to feel it. I'll do what I think is right." Baya's lips curled up slightly. Her eyes were as cold as frost. Chapter 260. Baya went to Jinyuan City shopping mall and bought some clothes, cosmetics, and a new bag. Expensive clothes, exquisite makeup, and a business card bag. Even if she appeared in a hotel, she would still attract the attention of countless people. She sent the hotel room number to Su Jiaron and called LV Xingzhou. "Governor LV, I'm Baya. I'm sorry to have delayed it for so many days. I'll be free from this afternoon onwards. Is it convenient for me to go to your house this afternoon?" Baya asked politely. "Yes, hurry up, my child." LV Xingzhou paused. "My child's mother can't control him anymore. He's now trying to commit suicide at home." "Okay, send me the address. I'll go over now." Baya smiled and left with her bag. Inside the bag were medicine and a baton. Within half an hour, she appeared at LV Xingzhou's house. LV Xingzhou wasn't at home, so her housekeeper opened the door. "Hello, I'm the private tutor hired by Governor LV." Baya smiled. When LV Xingzhou's wife heard that the private tutor was here, she quickly looked towards the door. She knew that LV Xingzhou had hired a psychologist to pretend to be a private tutor. "Teacher Bai, right? Come in quickly. My child is on a hunger strike, he hasn't eaten for 2 days, and the door is not open. I'm really worried that something might happen to him," LV Xingzhou's wife said worriedly. Baya changed into the slippers given by the housekeeper and entered the room. She walked to the door and knocked. "Get lost, I don't want to see anyone, I don't want to eat any food. If you keep me captive, I'll just die," LV Biao clamored. "Teacher Bai, look at my child, what should I do?" LV Xingzhou's wife was so anxious that her tears were about to fall. "Can I trouble you to go to the kitchen and bring me the food?" Baya said to LV Xingzhou's wife. LV Xingzhou's wife looked at Baya with hope. Baya nodded her head, signaling her to leave. LV Xingzhou's wife had no choice but to follow the nanny into the kitchen. Baya knocked on the door and said softly, "Your mother has left. I'm the new tutor. Perhaps I'll be the only one who will spend the rest of your life with me. Do you want to be alone in the room, or do you want a strange woman to accompany you?" After Baya finished speaking, LV Biao opened the door and looked at Baya. There was a flash of amazement in his eyes, and it was as if there was a ferocious beast in his body. He swallowed his saliva. Baya smiled. "You're quite sensible. You are my tutor." Lu Biao stuttered. Baya saw that his hands were trembling. His gaze was fixed on her, and the corners of his lips were slightly upturned. This was not nervousness, but the excitement of seeing prey. Even a certain part of him had a physiological reaction. He was an evil spirit that was in the process of growing up. "Let me tell you, I'm not just a tutor. I'm a police officer. The police station sent me here to observe you, but I think you're quite obedient. They must have misunderstood you. Behave well, I still have to report you every day," Baya said gently. Fear flashed in LV Biao's excited eyes. "You're a police officer?" Baya nodded. "But be good. I'll apply to bring you out to play if there's a chance." LV Biao's eyes dimmed. "Oh, then I'll be good." Baya looked at the messy desk and casually flipped through the books on it. The books on the desk were not only for class, but there were also many erotic magazines and sci-fi novels. She looked at LV Biao from the corner of her eyes. LV Biao stared at her back, his brows furrowed and his fists clenched, restraining his impulses. Baya turned around, leaned against the desk and looked at him. LV Biao was shocked and let go of his fists. "What class do you want to have first?" Baya squinted at him. This child had a high IQ and was very defensive. He was a rational psychopath. Every crime he committed was upgraded, and he was very good at judging the situation. His first reaction when he saw her was excitement. He hadn't committed a crime for a long time, and the desire to commit a crime made every cell in his body clamor. When she said that she was a police officer, sent by the police station, and had to report every day, he knew that he couldn't do anything to her. That excitement disappeared without a trace. When she turned her back to him, he had an impulse again, but he controlled it rationally. She was facing him, and that impulse disappeared completely. According to a psychological study, if you put a wallet on a table and there was no one near the table, 10% of people would definitely take the wallet, 10% of people would definitely not take the wallet, and 80% of people weren't sure if they would take the wallet. Therefore, most crimes were committed by the victim who gave the criminal the opportunity to commit the crime. Women who were afraid of being raped had better not wear revealing clothes. Women who were afraid of being robbed had better not show their wealth. Women who were afraid of being killed had better not do things that would make others angry. Therefore, even though she knew that LV Biao was an extremely dangerous criminal, she couldn't leave her back to him. "What's your favorite class?" Baya asked. "Biology," LV Biao answered without thinking. Baya flipped through a biology book and saw that it was filled with his notes. "You want to be a doctor?" LV Biao paused, lowered his head and replied, "Yes. Actually, being a forensic doctor is quite good. Ordinary people study the structure of the human body, and if they kill someone they will pay with their life. Before they can study it thoroughly, they will be sent to prison and die in vain. Forensic doctors are different. In university they can study anatomy. Not only can they dissect animals, but they can also dissect humans. It's very interesting, Baya said. You also think that dissecting is interesting? LV Biao asked excitedly. Of course. Think about it, study the structure of the human body, and explore the mysteries of nature. Perhaps, the future is in my hands. Baya smiled and sat on the chair. His fingers rhythmically tapped on the table. Actually, what I want to analyze the most is the human brain. Why do humans have memories? Why do they think? Why do they have so many emotions? What is the structure of the brain? Can these things be connected to the universe? LV Biao got more excited as he spoke. If we understand the structure of the human brain, we might be able to create countless superhumans. This world will become completely different. Baya cooperated with LV Biao and said, Yes, yes. Why do humans act impulsively? Why do they want to mate? Why do they fall in love? Why do they stop loving each other? Why are some people smart and some stupid? If we know all these, humans will take a big step forward. You will become the savior of this world. Your existence will be recorded in all the history books. Your success is unprecedented, and no one will be able to surpass you in the future, Baya praised. Yes, yes, yes. I want to become that kind of person. LV Biao's eyes were shining. Baya smiled. Chapter 261. The grand debut of the war without gunpowder. So, Baya picked up the biology book and waved it in front of him. If you want to become that kind of person, you have to study hard. Only by getting into a university can you get in touch with higher education and learn more knowledge. What do you think? Are you using this method to motivate me to study? LV Biao's eyes dimmed. To be precise, it's to help you find the right way to fulfill your wish. Moreover, it's legal. You don't want to die before achieving your goal, right? Baya said with a smile. Then do you think studying hard will lead to that day? LV Biao was confused. You don't have confidence in yourself? In my eyes, everything is possible as long as you put in the effort. Also, I happen to know a forensic doctor. I can arrange for her to give you a private lesson. Baya put down the biology book. Really? When will it be? I can't wait to go, LV Biao said excitedly. That will depend on your performance. I will apply to let you go back to school. You guys will have a monthly exam. I want you to be in the top 10. Also, if the teacher approves of you, I will bring you there, Baya stated her conditions. You will let me go? LV Biao was surprised. Why not? What you did, in my eyes, was just your exploration of knowledge. However, your exploration method is wrong. You don't have a good teacher to guide you, so you are walking on the edge of the law. Luckily, I made it in time. Otherwise, a future great man might have gone to prison early and regrettably missed success. Baya looked at LV Biao with a burning gaze. LV Biao said, You really think so? LV Biao examined Baya's expression. Don't you think you are a genius? Baya asked back. I think so too. I can't communicate with those idiots normally. I want to do things that they don't dare to do to prove my judgment. Last time, I raped a girl, and they thought she was the prettiest girl in school. She had high standards, and after I raped her, she still asked my dad for $1 million. Lu Biao said disdainfully. You have proved to many people that you are just a motley crew. What's the point? Study hard and prove to the world that you are the master. That is the great thing, right? Baya guided. You have proven to many people that you are just a mob. Yes, you're absolutely right. I'll start studying hard right now, Lu Biao said excitedly. I believe in you, so I'll talk to your mother later and ask you to go to school tomorrow. I'll pick you up from school and tutor you at night. If you're in the top 10 of the monthly exams, I'll take you to see a real anatomy. I guarantee that it's something your childhood friends won't be able to see. Therefore it is beyond their reach. Thank you. You are the teacher I acknowledge. If I succeed in the future, I will never forget your guidance. LV Biao seemed to have been injected with chicken blood. All the cells in his body were clamoring with excitement. Read your book first. I'll go out and talk to your mother for a while. Baya stood up and walked out the door. Teacher Bai, has Xiao Biao eaten? LV Xingzhou's mother asked worriedly. Baiya pushed open the door and said to LV Biao, eat first. Only when you're full will you have the strength to study. The body is the capital of revolution. Okay. LV Biao replied obediently. LV Xingzhou's wife looked at Baiya in astonishment. This was too amazing. A naughty, willful, and rebellious child. No one could control him. This Dr. Bai just met him for a while and he was already so obedient. Bring it in to the young master. LV Xingzhou's wife ordered the nanny. Mrs. Liu, is it convenient for us to talk alone? Baiya invited. Sure, come to my room. LV Xingzhou's wife looked at Baiya in a new light and was especially friendly. Baiya followed LV Xingzhou's wife into the room and went straight to the point. I hope to let LV Biao go to school tomorrow. I'll pick him up every day and tutor him at night. That won't do. LV Xingzhou's wife panicked. LV Biao's personality is a bit violent. It won't be good if he hurts his classmates in school. If even his own mother doesn't believe that he will change, then what motivation does he have to gain the approval of others? Baiya retorted, his words sharp and cold. LV Biao's mother immediately felt ashamed. Is it really okay for him to go to school? There won't be a problem. Send him to school as usual tomorrow. Baiya promised. All right then. He's locked up at home and goes on a hunger strike every now and then. I can't control him anymore, LV Xingzhou's wife sighed. Baiya nodded and left LV Xingzhou's wife's room to go to LV Biao's room. LV Biao was memorizing English words while reading a book. Baiya sat opposite him and asked, think about it. What will you encounter when you go to school tomorrow? My classmates will definitely be very afraid of me. Even the teachers and headmasters won't dare to provoke me. They will even talk behind my back. Who knows, there might even be people who provoke me. LV Biao said indifferently. Then what do you think? Baiya asked. A bunch of idiots. I used to want to prove something to these idiots, but I don't want to anymore. I want to prove to the whole world that I am the ruler, LV Biao said suddenly. The world that is ruled is actually very lonely. Let me give you a suggestion. What you want to become is a savior. That way, everyone will worship you, look up to you, praise you, unable to surpass you and revere you. Even the places that you walk through will be worshipped by the people. That way is the most awesome, Baiya said with a smile. His fingers lightly tapped on the table. Yes, you're right. You're the only person who can communicate with me. You're like the beacon of light in my life, LV Biao agreed. Before achieving your wish, what we need to do now is to study. Read your book first. If there's anything you don't understand, you can ask me. Amen, amen, amen. While LV Biao was reading, Baiya was also reading. After all, she had forgotten a lot of content from high school. Only by consolidating and revising would she have the ability to teach others. Time passed in silence. Suddenly, Baiya's phone rang. When she saw that it was Su Jiaran, she walked out of the room to answer the call. I'll reach Jinyuan City in half an hour. Are you coming to pick me up? Su Jiaran asked. I'm currently at a student's house. I'll come over now. See you later. I'll treat you to a meal, Baiya said with a smile. Su Jiaran paused. Her current state was completely different from what he had imagined. He had thought that she would be angry, pessimistic, and hateful towards him. See you later then. Baiya hung up the phone and bade farewell to LV Xingzhou's wife. She went to the pharmacy to buy some red medicine and applied a few drops on a sanitary pad. After pasting it on, she went to the train station to pick up Su Jiaran. He was dressed in a light blue suit, and his hair had been specially styled. It was slightly curled and tipped up, and he had even dyed it maroon red. It looked damp and youthful, and it set off his beautiful face even more seductive. The corner of Baiya's mouth curled up. Her eyes were incomparably cold. Chapter 262. Su Jiaran walked up to Baiya and looked at her delicate face. She had put on makeup, and her already beautiful facial features were dazzling under the makeup. The corners of her mouth were curled up, and she looked extremely charming. That kind of charm was not just from the makeup, but from her very bones. Su Jiaran's heart felt as if it had been struck by something, causing ripples to form in his heart. I'm surprised that you came to pick me up, Su Jiaran said as he looked at her. This shouldn't be the only thing that surprised you. Just get used to it. Let's go, I'll treat you to dinner. The Savant's restaurant here is the most famous, and the local food is pretty good. I've made a reservation. Baya turned around. He held her waist and pulled her to his side. Baya looked at him and met his devilish eyes. She pursed her lips and said, Commander Su, are you very particular about formality? You're my woman, Su Jiaran said in a deep voice, as if he was scrutinizing something. Baya shrugged, not letting him see what she was thinking, and turned her face away. If I were a 20-year-old girl, I'd like this kind of formality. Unfortunately, I'm almost 30, and it's better not to be mushy. As long as I like it, I can't control others, Su Jiaran said domineeringly. He hugged her even tighter like a pair of iron pincers, not letting her break free. She also knew that she could not break free, so she simply leaned all her strength on him. She stood in the most comfortable position, and they walked to the waiting area for taxis. There were quite a lot of people waiting in front. Su Jiaran liked the weight of her body. When she leaned on him, he felt that his life was complete. Otherwise, his soul would be floating, and he would not be able to find a place to stay. Now he knew what he wanted. His gaze unconsciously softened. How have you been these days? Su Jiaran asked in a low voice. How can you not know how I've been? Baya smiled and asked, In my mind, you're a godlike man, omnipotent. Can I take what you said as praise and not sarcasm? Su Jiaran looked at her calm face. It depends on how you hear it. Literally speaking, it's a compliment. However, if you've done a lot of bad things that I don't know about, it does sound very ironic. Baya raised his eyebrows and looked at Su Jiaran sharply. Su Jiaran pinched her chin, bent down, and kissed her lips. A strong masculine scent invaded her mouth. Baya furrowed his brows and glanced at Su Jiaran. He was so engrossed in the kiss that he closed his eyes. He was even impulsive, fierce, and domineering. She knew that she could not avoid it. Struggling would only make him more excited. She clenched her fists and stood still. Her calm eyes were closed, and she was like a statue, dead silent. She did not resist. Su Jiaran was also shocked. He opened his eyes and looked at her. Baya took out a silk handkerchief from her bag calmly and wiped her lips. She said lightly, Is the lipstick tasty? I'm going to put on poisonous lipstick next time. We'll be poisoned together. He pinched her chin, lifted it up, and kissed her lips again. I'll eat it even if it's poisonous. I'll die under a peony and become a ghost. Baya smiled. You do have a lot of peonies. Panic flashed in Su Jiaran's eyes. His heart felt as though it was being gripped by a hand. The sourness came unexpectedly. He corrected her. No more. Since 3 years ago, you're the only peony I've had. You know that. Baya nodded thoughtfully. She saw a taxi coming from the corner of her eyes. Let's get in the car first. Baya opened the car door and sat in the front passenger seat. She said, Master, let's go to Savant's restaurant. The taxi driver started the car. Baya looked out of the window and did not say anything. Su Jiaran looked at the side of her face with a burning gaze. He did not say anything either. Half an hour later, they arrived at Savant's restaurant. The hostess at the door led them to their reserved seats. Baya picked up the menu and ordered. The waitress quickly gave them the order and brought them buckwheat tea. Su Jiaran took a sip of tea. I couldn't find you for the past few days. I almost went crazy. I thought you were hiding alone. It's not like I don't want to live anymore. You have the power of my life in your hands now. Baya said calmly. As long as you receive the injection every month, I can guarantee that you will live to 100 years old. Su Jiaran promised. It seems that you don't want children anymore. Or, did a woman give birth to a child for you? Baya smiled lightly. Su Jiaran paused and looked at Baya in surprise. You're willing to give birth to a child for me? Why not? You don't want children, but I do. Baya looked down and sipped her tea. Su Jiaran was excited. He held Baya's hand and said seriously, The antidote is still being developed. If there are no accidents, it will be out in 3 months. At that time, let's get married. I'll go with you wherever you want to go. I'm willing to give up everything I have for you. The antidote is still being developed. You're going to inject me with the virus? A man must be ruthless. This is indeed your style, Su Jiaran. You're ruthless. Su Jiaran stared at her face. He couldn't tell if she was praising him or despising him. He tightened his grip on her hand. At that time, you forced me to the point that I couldn't breathe. I couldn't just watch you and Gu Lingqing fly away together. I'll be good to you. Baiya looked at Su Jiaran suspiciously and narrowed her eyes. Su Jiaran, there's something I'm actually quite curious about. With your looks and power, you can have any woman you want. Why did you steal a woman from Gu Lingqing, and even me? With my figure and looks, there are a lot of women on the street. The problem is that I don't have a good personality. You've been with me for so long, so you should understand. What do you like about me? I like you so much that you want to destroy me. Because I've had too many women. I know which kind of woman is worthy of my love. During the 3 years we were married, you didn't abandon yourself because of my flirtatious ways, and you didn't give up because of my wanton hurt. Every time I was sick, drunk, sad, or in a bad mood, you stayed with me. It was always you. Su Jiaran confessed. So, even if you have to inject me with a virus, you still want to keep me? Should I feel sad for the Baiya from 3 years ago, or should I feel that I deserve it now? Baiya smiled. Her smile was so bright that it was even more dazzling than the light from the crystal lamp. The past is the past. Let's think about the future together. In the future, Su Jiaran won't have eyes for other women. I'll take care of you for the rest of your life. That's the end of the bitterness, right? I won't let anyone hurt you. Su Jiaran promised. Chapter 263. I'll do the injection with you. As long as you're willing to be with me, I'm willing to do anything for you. You actually know this, Su Jiaran confessed tenderly. Baiya propped up her cheeks and looked at Su Jiaran. Are you really willing to do anything? I'm willing to do anything, Su Jiaran said without hesitation. Got it. I'm going to the washroom. She got up and walked to the washroom. After washing her hands, she looked at her enchanting self in the mirror. Her eyes were filled with confusion. In her knowledge, love was a chemical element called dopamine. When a person felt love, this chemical substance would be produced. It would make one feel sweet, radiant, and immerse in a fairy tale world. One's IQ would drop to 0. All one could see was the good points of the other party. All one would miss was the other party. If one could not see the other party, one would feel sad. However, this chemical substance would also disappear with metabolism. The longest it could stay in the body was no more than 3 months. After 3 months, what maintained the relationship between a man and a woman was not dopamine. Instead, it was one's personal cultivation, sense of responsibility, and attitude towards life. Rationality became the dominant factor. The criteria to be considered were habits and adaptations without temptation. One would be able to see the other party's good points and shortcomings from a rational point of view. Because they were looking for a partner, they would have higher requirements for the other party. It would magnify the other party's shortcomings. There would be quarrels in life. They would wear each other down until they gave up. Then they would go on another dopamine journey. Baiya and Gu Lingqing loved each other more and more. What was the reason for that? The continuous production of dopamine? What was the reason for Su Jiaran's love for Baiya? Xiaoya. Gu Lingqing's voice was heard. Baiya saw Gu Lingqing in the mirror. Her eyes flickered slightly. Why are you here? Gu Lingqing asked and walked towards her. Baiya frowned defensively. She turned around and faced Gu Lingqing. I think I've made myself clear. You're the source of Baiya's pain. Don't see each other again. Even if you see each other, pretend that you don't know each other. She lowered her head and walked outside. Gu Lingqing stood in front of her, grabbed her wrist, turned around and pushed her against the wall. I'm the source of Baiya's pain. Am I yours? Baiya paused and looked at Gu Lingqing in confusion. What do you mean? I think you should know Baiya's feelings for me better than me. After all, you've always been with her and experienced everything she's been through. You know her better than anyone else. Let me ask you, does Baiya want us to be together in the end? Gu Lingqing asked with burning eyes. Baiya clenched his fists. You guys can't be together. Why can't it be? Gu Lingqing retorted. There was pain in his eyes and his brows were knitted together. Baya lifted her chin. I don't think there's anything to hide. You should be able to tell that Baya was in too much pain in the past. She was too helpless and heartbroken. Every day was an inner torment for her. She had too many things to worry about, too many things to bear, and too many things to bear. As a result, her condition got worse and worse. She could no longer bear it. If it continued to develop, she might end up like her mother, unable to do anything and locked up in the nursing home until she died. So, at the moment when she was about to have a mental breakdown, she hypnotized herself. I'm a product of her hypnosis. I don't know love, I don't have love, I don't know pain, I don't need to take medicine, and I won't have insomnia anymore. She'll probably never come back. And I don't love you. Gu Lingqing's heart skipped a beat and he loosened his grip. He would rather she pretended not to love him to protect him than to turn into someone else. He didn't know. What should he do? Baya crawled out from under Gu Lingqing's arm. She turned around and looked at Gu Lingqing, who was in a daze. Baya hopes that you and Zhou Hailan can live happily ever after. She's sincere. From now on, your career will rise and you'll be invincible. If you love her too, do what she wants you to do. Without Baya, Gu Lingqing won't be happy. Does she know that? Gu Lingqing asked in a low voice. Baya's lips twitched. You have a strong sense of responsibility. Zhou Hailan gave birth to your child, so you should marry her. The so-called dopamine doesn't last long. Love will disappear with the passage of time. Not many people can get married after a period of love. Even if they get married because of love, they might not be able to live until they die. To be able to walk till the end of your life, that is life. Don't you think that your view of life is too sad? There are many people in history who are faithful to one person until they die. Baya, don't be disappointed in life, Gu Lingqing said worriedly. Baya shrugged. She didn't even look at Gu Lingqing in the eye. If you were Baya, after experiencing what she has gone through, you wouldn't still have hope. You wouldn't still have a little bit of kindness towards this world. Live your own life. I don't want to hurt you, but if you continue to pester me, don't blame me. I won't stand on ceremony. After she finished speaking, she left the washroom decisively. Gu Lingqing looked at Baya's back view with a deep gaze. She was arrogant, cold, and like a lonely female warrior. He roughly knew what Baya had gone through. She was born in a cold home. She saw her mother being drugged by her father and her mother getting divorced. When she was young, she lived with her mother. Her mother cut her wrists and she committed suicide. She climbed out of the bathtub and walked to the door. She looked outside and realized that there was no place she wanted to go. She returned to the bathtub and waited for death. She was saved by her neighbor. Her mother was sent to the mental hospital. She didn't have anyone to adopt her, so she went to an orphanage. She grew up and could support herself. Her mother was also rescued and she fell in love. However, she was kidnapped by her fiancé and ex-girlfriend on the eve of her wedding. She was raped. It wasn't easy for her to give birth to a child, but it was snatched away before it was even a week old. In the 3 years of marriage, all she saw was her husband's betrayal. She watched over him alone day and night. Finally, he appeared, but he caused her to lose her job. She lost her pinky. He lost his memory and forgot about her. He only remembered Zhou Hailan. To her, it was the greatest pain. She chose to commit suicide. After being saved, she went to study psychology. Just as they were about to be together, something happened. She was filled with disappointment and pessimism towards this world. All the more, he couldn't give up on her. Even if he had to gamble with his life, he had to let her see that it wasn't just despair. At the very least, he would always be by her side, no matter what happened to her. Baya returned to her seat. The waiter had already served 4 dishes. She didn't say anything. She lowered her head and ate the bamboo-wrapped pork without any expression. Su Jiaran picked up a meatball for her. You really should eat more. You're too skinny. Su Jiaran's phone rang. Baya lowered his head to eat. When he saw the caller ID, he frowned impatiently and hung up the phone. The other party did not give up and called again. Do you need me to pick it up for you? Baya asked with a smile. Her eyes glanced at his phone. It's Xing Jinyan, right? Su Jiaran thought for a moment and handed the phone to Baya. Baya looked at the caller ID. She remembered the nickname of editor Su Jiaran. She had somewhat forgotten what the nickname was. Now it was Little Nian. She picked up the call and pressed the speaker button again. Su Jiaran, what's the meaning of this? Dad said that B*TCH by Ya is with you. Are you crazy? She's already been used by so many men, and she's sick all over. Gu Lingqing doesn't even want her anymore. How can you pick up a pair of used shoes? How can you face me? Xing Jinyan scolded. Are you done scolding me? Baya asked. Xing Jinyan paused and said in shock, Baya, you're really with Jiran. Why are you picking up Jiran's call? Where's Jiran? I want to talk to him. Go ahead, he can hear you. I pressed the speaker button, and he's sitting opposite me, Baya said calmly. Xing Jinyan could no longer stay calm. He was about to explode. What's the meaning of this? Baya, you know that Su Jiaran is my fiancé. Are you going to be a mistress now? Su Jiaran is just your fiancé. Why are you so angry? When Su Jiaran was my husband, what did you do? Baya said casually. Her eyes were full of sarcasm. So you're taking revenge on me now? Xing Jinyan roared. Ha! Baya laughed. In my eyes, you're nothing. Taking revenge on you? Sorry, I don't have that much time to waste on an insignificant person. You're the one who's nothing. One moment, you're with Gu Lingqing, the next moment, you're with Mu Xiaoxing, and the next moment, you're with Su Jiaran. You're going to sleep with every man. Don't you have any shame? Xing Jinyan roared hysterically. In terms of the number of men you've slept with, whoever has slept with the most will die a horrible death. Do you dare to swear with me? Baya said sarcastically. Of course I dare. I'm just a man. Do you dare? Xing Jinyan shouted. Then I really don't dare. I'm just a man. Soon, I'll have two. You win. If there's nothing else, I'm hanging up. Baya, if you dare to touch Su Jiaran, I'll kill you, Xing Jinyan threatened. His eyes were bloodshot. He understood Baya's hint. Baya hung up the phone and returned it to Su Jiaran. Su Jiaran looked at her deeply and didn't take it. She seems to love you very much. If you turn back, maybe there'll be another beautiful scene. Baya placed his phone in front of him. Xing Jinyan has attended sex parties overseas. In the 3 years that I've neglected her, she went overseas every year. Do you think I'll like her? Su Jiaran sneered and drank the wine in his hand. In a sense, you're very similar to her. You're a good match. Don't you always attend those parties? In the future, when you get married, you can attend them together. There are no obstacles, no pressure, no responsibilities, no burdens, Baya said calmly and poured a little red wine for Su Jiaran. But there's no love. I'm tired of living without feelings. I don't want to die without someone I love or someone who loves me. That way, it'll feel like I've lived my life in vain. When I'm with Xing Jinyan, there are no obstacles, no pressure, no responsibilities, no burdens. At the same time, there's no warmth, no rest, no stop, Su Jiaran said sadly as he looked at Baya with a burning gaze. What you're looking for is a woman who loves you wholeheartedly. You'll eventually find such a woman, but it's not me. Baya also drank the wine in her hand. His heart was heavy. It shouldn't be. Chapter 265. But the one I love is you. As long as I look at you, I feel at ease. Even if you don't love me, I want to be with you until the end of the world. At least when I die, the one I love the most will be by my side. I won't have any regrets, Su Jiaran confessed. Go and do what you should have done, Baya said in a low voice. She lowered her head and continued eating without saying a word. The waiter came over to settle the bill. Baya took out her wallet from her bag. Sir, someone has already settled the bill for your table, Fu Yuhuang said with a smile. Baya looked at Su Jiaran. It wasn't me, Su Jiaran explained. Baya's eyes darkened. She glanced sideways at the door. If it wasn't Su Jiaran, It had to be Gu Lingqing. She was already eating with Su Jiaran. What did he mean by settling the bill for them? She couldn't see Gu Lingqing clearly, just like how Baiya couldn't see him clearly. Who settled the bill? Su Jiaran asked. Baiya shook her head. I'm not sure. Forget it, let's go. She got up and walked out of the door. A gust of cold wind blew over. She wrapped her arms around herself. Su Jiaran took off his shirt and wrapped it around her. His shirt had a charming smell of cologne. What she liked was the same as what Baiya liked before. She liked the refreshing smell. Su Jiaran walked to the side of the road to take a taxi. Baiya turned around and saw Gu Lingqing. He stood by the window of the private room and looked at her with a deep gaze. When their eyes met, she turned her face away and clenched her fists slightly. Su Jiaran got a taxi and opened the back door. Baiya walked towards Su Jiaran and got into the taxi. Su Jiaran sat next to her. Baiya handed him his clothes and said to the driver, "Go to Jinyuan City International Hotel." "Xiaoya, can I stay at your place tonight?" Su Jiaran went straight to the point. "My relatives are here. It's not convenient today." Baiya refused. Su Jiaran's lips curled into a devilish smile. "It's not like I have to. I've already waited for 3 years. 1 more week won't make a difference." Baiya lowered her head. "I'm used to sleeping alone." Su Jiaran furrowed his brows and turned his face away. There was a hint of anger in his eyes, but he didn't say anything. The space was very quiet. It was so quiet that they could hear each other's breath. Su Jiaran's chest heaved unsteadily. He turned around and faced Baiya. Baiya leaned back in his chair and closed his eyes. "What if I forcefully request to stay in the same room with you?" Su Jiaran asked in a deep voice as he looked at her with a burning gaze. Baiya glanced at him and said calmly, "Okay." The word, "okay," was out of his expectations. Su Jiaran couldn't see Baiya clearly anymore. "You agree?" "Yes," Baiya replied softly. She tilted her head and leaned on Su Jiaran's shoulder. Su Jiaran's heart was beating fast. He hugged her shoulder and looked down at her. She closed her eyes. Her long eyelashes were like a fan. They were soft, and they melted his heart. Su Jiaran lowered his head and kissed her on the forehead. She didn't react at all. It was as if she had fallen asleep. Su Jiaran kissed her forehead, her eyes, her nose, and her lips. She still didn't move at all. "Xiaoya." Su Jiaran's voice was a little hoarse. "Let's get married soon, okay?" Baiya didn't say anything. Su Jiaran noticed that Baiya was behaving strangely and panic flashed in his eyes. "Xiaoya, Xiaoya, wake up, Xiaoya." Baiya pushed his mouth and didn't open her eyes. "You're very noisy. I just fell asleep." Su Jiaran heard her speak and breathed a sigh of relief. He smiled. "You're really sleepy. It's still so early." Baiya didn't refute and continued to sleep. The car stopped at the International Hotel and Baiya opened her eyes. Su Jiaran handed the driver a 100 yuan note. Baiya opened the car door and got out. "Keep the change." Su Jiaran carried the clothes and caught up with Baiya. He draped it over her. "It's cold. Don't catch a cold." "Mem." Baiya responded and went to the hotel. Su Jiaran didn't ask for another room and followed Baiya to the 21st floor. "Are you sleeping outside or inside?" Baiya asked. "Outside," Su Jiaran replied. There was a strange look in his eyes. He had seen countless women, but because of Baiya's words, his heart was beating fast as if it was his first awakening of love. Baiya opened the door. Only then did he know that Baiya was talking about outside or inside. There was more than one bed. "You booked the presidential suite?" Su Jiaran couldn't hide the disappointment in his tone. "The service in the presidential suite is better. The room is more complete. I'm still very sleepy. I'll take a shower first. Good night." Baiya walked into the room and locked the door. Su Jiaran wanted to say something, but she had already locked the door. He saw that she was really tired, so he didn't call her again and walked into the bathroom. Baiya saw that he didn't knock on the door. She went to the bathroom and looked at herself in the mirror. She looked at herself for a long time without saying anything. Her phone rang. She came back to her senses and saw that it was Su Jiaran's call. She answered. What's wrong? I want to hear your voice, Su Jiaran said softly. Then record my voice now. I'm going to sleep later. Don't call me anymore. I have a headache when I wake up, Baya said indifferently. Then say something nice. I'll record it. Su Jiaran really turned on the record button. Baya paused for a moment and asked, Why do they call you Commander? It's from the president. So they call me Commander. The place you went last time was one of my bases. My main job is to investigate all the officials in secret and grasp all the secrets and movements of all the officials, Su Jiaran explained. You work for the president? Baya was doubtful. Strictly speaking, yes. What if it's not the president who comes to power this time? Baya asked. If there's no such accident, Gu Lingqing has already lost his candidacy. As long as the information I have on Su Shaoling is leaked, Su Zhang will also be disqualified. Su Zhang is your uncle, your biological uncle. Baya was puzzled. Baya, I'm only telling you this. I'm willing to hand my weakness to you in exchange for a chance for you to treat me sincerely. I'm not Xiong Dani's biological son. Xiong Dani's biological son is dead. I'm adopted by Xiong Dani, Su Jiaran said with a smile. Baya frowned. So, how did you know that Xing Buchuan killed your father? Chapter 266. The human heart was separated by the belly. Even if one could see the beating heart, one still could not see a person clearly. That was why there was speculation, probing, danger, and injury. She could feel the coldness in Su Jiaran's tone through the screen. She felt that everyone should bear the consequences of their mistakes. It was not that they would not take revenge, but that it was not time yet. Xing Buchuan only had himself to blame for what had happened today. I'm sleepy. Good night, Su Jiaran, Baya said softly. You haven't said anything nice yet, Su Jiaran reminded her. What nice thing do you want to hear? Thank you for giving me an extraordinary life? Or thank you for loving me to the point of destruction? Baya chuckled. That chuckle was filled with displeasure, sarcasm, and blame. She did not give Su Jiaran a chance to speak. She hung up the phone, switched it off, and threw it on the bedside table. She felt dizzy and closed her eyes. She did not even turn on the lights. After some time, she suddenly woke up and looked at the bedside. Gu Lingqing was standing in front of her. Because he had drunk alcohol, his face was strangely rosy. Even the air was filled with the smell of alcohol. Why are you here? Baya asked in a low voice. What do you think? Gu Lingqing asked in return. His dark eyes did not hide the sadness that flowed through them. His breathing was rapid as he looked at her with melancholy. It was as if she was the only antidote for him. Seeing him like that, Baya felt a little uncomfortable. Please get out of here. I want to rest. Gu Lingqing walked towards Baya. She was frightened and got up from the bed. He was even faster. He rushed over and pressed Baya down on the bed. Baya pushed his shoulder defensively. Because they were so close to each other, all she could smell was his breath. How much did he drink? She was drunk and a little dizzy. Gu Lingqing, let go of me. Su Jiaran is outside. If you continue like this, I will scream, Baya warned sternly. Gu Lingqing tightened his jaw and stared at her. Go ahead and shout, right? Baya was stunned. She was just trying to scare him. Of course she wouldn't shout. If Su Jiaran came in, it would only make the situation even more chaotic. She had been seen through by Gu Lingqing, so she was angry. She turned her head and bit Gu Lingqing's arm. He furrowed his brows, pursed his lips and did not say a word. He stared at her without blinking, as if he wanted to see through her and take her away. He was indeed. Baya could taste his blood, but he still did not let go. Soldiers had a will of steel. Even if he was bitten until he was bleeding, he did not make a sound. He was indeed a tough guy. She thought that there must be a reason why Baya liked him. She could not push him away or bite him. Baya was helpless. What do you want? Gu Lingqing lowered his head and kissed her on the lips. Baya was shocked. Her eyes widened and she pushed him away with all her might. She could not break free at all. His kiss was as domineering as Su Jiaran's. The difference was that she could treat Su Jiaron's kiss calmly. She could not bear the slightest ripple in her heart. However, when faced with his kiss, she could not resist it and her breathing became chaotic. After Gu Lingqing's red tongue entered her mouth, it circled around her tongue a few times and then sucked on the tip of her tongue. There was a slight prickling pain, so she could not ignore his presence. What was more intense was the taste of alcohol in his mouth. It easily ignited her. His palm lifted up her nightdress. The temperature in his palm was as hot as the butt of a cigarette. Everywhere it touched, it made her tremble. She wanted to say that her relatives were there to stop her from further intruding. But her lips were blocked by him, so she could not make a sound at all. Gu Lingqing's palm pressed down along her smooth skin. Baya gripped the bedsheets tightly and looked at him in shock. He closed his eyes and did not look at her. He kissed her seriously, not too fast or too slow, as if he wanted her to get used to it. Baya felt ashamed. She had been on guard, but she had miscalculated. There was no logic to speak of when it came to a drunkard. He did not look at her at all, so he did not see the sanitary pad she had pasted on her. Most importantly, he still blocked her lips to prevent her from saying anything. Gooflam. She did not know whether it was because she was anxious or because she was struggling, but her forehead and nose were densely covered in sweat. Most importantly, there was an indescribable feeling washing away her rationality, and she was on the verge of collapsing. Gu Lingqing was too familiar with her. He remembered every detail of her behavior in his heart. He increased his speed and kissed her even more deeply. Baya felt that she was almost out of breath, so she bit his tongue. He suddenly pressed it down. She felt as if there were fireworks blooming in her mind. There was a bright and colorful light. She forgot to think, forgot the environment she was in, and opened her mouth to breathe. Gradually, it calmed down. Xiaoya, your reaction is quite good. Gu Lingqing said hoarsely in her ear. Now it's my turn. He lifted her feet. Baya was anxious. She held his hand and said anxiously, I'm on my period. You can't. Gu Lingqing paused and looked at his palm. There was no red. He looked at her suspiciously. She found it difficult to say it. After all, it was just an act. She felt guilty and lowered her eyes. It's true. Didn't you say it just now? Gu Lingqing asked in a low voice. You blocked my mouth just now. What should I say? Baya explained. Gu Lingqing replied. He didn't make things difficult for her and sat by her bed. Baya couldn't tell what he was thinking, so she stayed away from him defensively. Gu Lingqing looked sideways and saw her repulsion. His eyes were deep. Where are you? Where will I be? If there's any danger, remember to call me immediately. It seems like you're the one in the most danger, right? Baya said unhappily. Who would do this to her room in the middle of the night and without asking if she was willing? If she didn't know that Baya liked him, she would have asked him to die. Did you feel comfortable just now? Gu Lingqing changed the topic. Baya blushed. She didn't want to answer his question. If you don't say anything, I'll take it as a yes, Gu Lingqing continued. I didn't feel comfortable, Baya replied. Then change it next time, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. His eyes were locked on her and he replied seriously. What? Baya didn't understand what he meant. What change? Change what? My fingers are a little thinner, Gu Lingqing explained seriously. Baya. I remember that we broke up. No, it's a divorce. You even signed a marriage agreement with Zhou Hailan. Gu Lingqing. Please understand your identity. You're a married man and a soldier. Should you say something like that? Baya said angrily. Chapter 267. Baya's heart tightened. She held Gu Lingqing's hand anxiously. Why are you so stubborn? Don't you think you're the one who's stubborn? What you think is right might not be right, Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. But you have to take up your responsibility as a father. You and Zhou Hailan have a son. You need to be an umbrella for your future instead of wasting your time on a useless person like me, Baya said angrily. Although that child isn't what I want, because he's my biological son, I'll take care of him and protect him to fulfill my responsibility as a father. This doesn't conflict with my pursuit of you. Gu Lingqing was also angry. How many times do I have to tell you before you understand that you can't? Before Bai Ya could finish her sentence, Gu Lingqing kissed her lips again and swallowed the word she wanted to say. Knock. 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 There was a knock on the door. Bai Ya glanced at the door. Panic flashed through her eyes and her back stiffened. Xiaoya, who are you talking to? Su Jiaran asked suspiciously when he heard the voice inside. Bai Ya looked at Gu Lingqing angrily and punched Gu Lingqing's chest. Gu Lingqing took the punch and held Bai Ya's hand. I'll come to see you in 2 days. Call me if you need anything. He kissed her lips again, got up and walked out of the window. Xiaoya, Su Jiaran shouted. Xiaoya. Bai Ya guessed that Su Jiaran was about to break in. Wait. She picked up the wine in the cabinet and opened it. She took a big gulp and splashed some on herself. Then, she went to the bathroom and poured half the bottle. She placed the bottle on the bedside table and opened the door. Su Jiaran looked at Bai Ya's flushed face. Have you been drinking? Bai Ya responded. He looked around the room. Other than Bai Ya, there was no one else. Who were you talking to just now? Why are you talking to yourself? Bai Ya looked at Su Jiaran with droopy eyes. Su Jiaran saw her phone on the bedside table and picked it up. It was turned off. He turned on his phone and checked the call log. There was no incoming call notification. He believed her. Why are you talking to yourself? I can be a good listener. Su Jiaran put down her phone and said. She didn't have anything to say to Su Jiaran, but if she didn't say anything, she would seem too guilty, which would make him suspicious. Practice cursing people, Bai Ya said in a low voice. Su Jiaran looked at her from head to toe. Do you still need to practice scolding people with your eloquence? Are you complimenting me? Bai Ya asked. Su Jiaran's lips twitched. He entered her room and sat on the sofa. Go ahead and curse. I'll listen and give you some guidance. I can't curse now. Bai Ya looked troubled. Su Jiaran laughed. Why are you so cute? Practicing how to curse people in the middle of the night? I have a headache now. I want to sleep. Bai Ya asked her to leave. Because she was too guilty, she didn't look at Su Jiaran. She put the bottle of wine on the bedside table into the wine cabinet. Su Jiaran hugged her from behind. He took a deep breath and smelled the fragrance of wine on her body. He said in a hoarse voice, Xiaoya, I don't want to leave your room anymore. Bai Ya furrowed her eyebrows. Su Jiaran and Gu Lingqing were very similar in some aspects. Was it because they didn't become brothers? It was too dangerous to sleep with Su Jiaran in the same room and on the same bed. Even if she had her auntie to protect her auntie was not an excuse for the rest of her life. If she let him sleep with her today, she wouldn't be able to reject him in the future. I can't sleep if there's one more person. Bai Ya refused. Then don't lock the door. I'll come in after you fall asleep. Bai Ya, you have to get used to me being by your side. We still have a long life ahead of us. Su Jiaran said softly and licked her red earlobe. Bai Ya's body trembled. She covered her ears and looked at him in rejection. Su Jiaran smiled wickedly. Be more sensitive. Su Jiaran, can you go and sleep? Bai Ya sighed softly. No. He rejected her decisively. Neither hard nor soft methods worked. Bai Ya wanted to lose her temper. Then I'll leave my room to you. I'll go out. Bai Ya walked towards the door. Su Jiaran held her hand and said helplessly, You should give me a deadline. Bai Ya, I've given you enough patience. 3 months. Bai Ya said. Su Jiaran's eyes turned cold. Don't tell me that you're going to leave me in 3 months. He was right. Bai Ya felt guilty and her breathing became unstable. Do you think I can leave you? She forced herself to calm down and asked. Su Jiaran held her hand and pressed it on his stomach. It was scorching hot, like the butt of a cigarette, burning her palm. Bai Ya subconsciously pulled her hand out and looked at him defensively. Help me get it out. I don't care what you do. Get it out. Su Jiaran said in a commanding tone. Bai Ya frowned. Do it yourself. Su Jiaran unbuckled his belt. She hurriedly walked towards the door. He grabbed her arm. Bai Ya did not dare to turn her head. Turn back. Su Jiaran ordered. She took a deep breath. In terms of physical strength, she was not a match for Su Jiaran. She had her aunt to protect her today, so she should be safe. She turned around and looked at Su Jiaran. The zipper of his trousers had been unzipped, and half of his shirt was pulled out. He was roguish and dangerous, as if he would turn into a big monster in the next moment and swallow her into his stomach. You have to give me some time to prepare myself. I've just divorced Gu Lingqing, and now I'm having sex with you. Don't let others say it. I also feel that I'm very cheap. I can't get over myself. Baya begged. Su Jiaran locked his eyes on her. Baya, don't play tricks on me. I agreed to your request because I cherish you and want to win your heart. But don't waste my trust and play me like a fool, okay? Su Jiaran warned her meaningfully. Baya knew that Su Jiaran had a high EQ and IQ. If she made a mistake, she would have nowhere to hide in front of him. I'm already adjusting. Although it's slow, I'm already trying my best, Baya replied. Su Jiaran flung her hand away. Wait here. He walked into her bathroom. Baya's heart was still in her throat. Her hands were trembling as she looked at the door. She could escape now, but what about after she escaped? Su Jiaran would never trust her again. With his ability, it would be very easy for him to catch her and bring her back. She would lose more than she gained. She could only gamble again. In the bathroom, Su Jiaran glanced at the rubbish bin and saw the female products. She was really on her period. He washed his hands, turned around and opened the door. Chapter 268. The corners of Su Jiaran's lips curled up. It was good that she was here. You should rest. It's late. Let's talk tomorrow. I'll be outside. You can look for me if you need anything. Su Jiaran compromised. She walked out of the room and closed the door for Baya. She was like a defeated rooster. Her shoulders drooped and she sat on the sofa weakly. However, her eyes were fixed in front of her. Life was full of gambles. If she won, everyone would be happy. If she lost, she would have to start all over again. She lay on the sofa and rested for a while. Then, she locked the door and walked into the bathroom. She took a shower and washed her clothes. When she lay on the bed, it was already 3 in the morning. As she lay on the bed, the scene with Gu Lingqing flashed across her mind. Her vision became more and more hazy. She closed her eyes. She had to sleep. There were many things to do tomorrow. She had to be alert. She slept until 10:20 in the morning. She was woken up by her phone ringing. She saw that it was Lu Shuang. She paused for a moment and answered. Shuang Niao. Xiaobai, where are you now? Can you meet me? Lu Shuang said irritably. I'm in Jinyuan City now. What's wrong? Baya asked worriedly. Do you remember the time we went to the women's club together? Didn't someone do something to me? Yes. Did you find out who the man was? Baya guessed. No, but I'm pregnant, Lu Shuang said helplessly. What? Baya was shocked. She sat up. You didn't take the pill? Didn't I ask you to have a checkup? I did. There's nothing wrong. I saw that the man had been taking protective measures. I thought that taking the pill would harm my body, so I didn't take it. I didn't expect that there would be a fish that slipped through the net. Lu Shuang was confused. He sighed. Shuang Niu, listen to me. You don't have a boyfriend and you're not married. If you give birth to this child, people will criticize you. It will ruin you. You can't keep the child, Baya said seriously. Lu Shuang was silent. Baya could tell that Lu Shuang was hesitating. She hesitated because she actually had her own ideas, but she was not completely sure. She wanted the answer to be the same as her thoughts, and when it was not, she would be silent. Baya was as anxious as an ant on a hot pan. She got up from the bed and walked to the window. She said in a grave tone, Shuang Niu, you're pregnant before marriage. This will be a stain on your record for life. You won't even be able to keep your position in the military. I'll learn more in the future. It shouldn't be a problem for me to go back and become a gynecologist. My father is the director, Lu Shuang said softly. But your child is an unregistered resident and can't be registered. Your father will also lose face because of you. Even if you go back and become an obstetrician, your colleagues, patients, and patients' families will point fingers at you. Do you still remember Shen Yen? Su Jiaran asked. Baya had a little impression of this person. He seemed to be the son of the president. She had met him on a blind date with Lu Shuang. He looked like a bad playboy, and he was also the man who took Lu Shuang's virginity. At that time, Su Jiaran even took a photo of it and threatened her. What's wrong? He likes Lu Shuang, Su Jiaran said in a deep voice. That's really bad news. Lu Shuang doesn't like him. Or I should say, he hates him, Baya said unhappily. He's His Highness, the son of the president. If nothing goes wrong, he will run for the president this time. I'm afraid Lu Shuang can't avoid it, Su Jiaran said. What do you mean by can't avoid it? Will Shen Yen marry Lu Shuang? Baya was suspicious. Many thoughts flashed through her mind in an instant. I don't think so. Shen Yen's identity is so noble. He just became the president, and there must be many voices of impeachment. His father should have helped him choose a girl who can stabilize his position. But it's still possible that Shen Yen secretly took in Lu Shuang as his woman. Secret. Baya felt as if a basin of cold water had been poured over her head, and her blood froze. Chapter 269. I'm sorry, but our Lu Shuang doesn't care. Baya said angrily. She picked up the teacup on the table and drank all the water in it. Su Jiaran saw that she was angry, so he stopped talking. The waiter served the dumplings quickly. Do you want vinegar? Su Jiaran asked. Baya had no appetite at all. She knew that Lu Shuang was Baya's only friend. That Shen Yen really likes Shuang Niu? Baya still couldn't believe it. This is what I heard. Shen Yen is more shrewd than anyone thinks, and he does things very carefully. Lu Shuang is with him. Although he doesn't have a title, he can have anything he wants, Su Jiaran commented. Shuang Niu looks casual, but she is very hot-tempered. She has very low requirements for men. She doesn't ask for cars, houses, looks or status, but she can't cheat or be a playboy. Shen Yen should have many girlfriends, right? Baya said sadly. Su Jiaran didn't deny it. In his position, a man's charm is sometimes his strongest weapon. He needs those women and those men to strengthen his position. He's only 27 years old this year. If he becomes the president, he'll be the youngest president in history. It's all because of him. This is all because of his strength and strategy. Do you have any reliable people you can introduce to Lu Shuang? It's lonely at the top, and with Lu Shuang's straightforward personality, she won't last more than one episode in a palace drama before she carries a bento box. Shen Yen has too many women around him. Lu Shuang can't handle them all. I'd rather him live a peaceful life. Su Jiaran laughed. Why do I feel that you will be in charge of the harem at the end in court dramas? Baya was annoyed. She hit Su Jiaran's hand. I'm serious. Why are you laughing? Su Jiaran's expression hardened. Misfortune is the source of fortune, and misfortune is the source of misfortune. It's better to let nature take its course. Or, Shen Yen will soon get tired of Lu Shuang, and if we stop him, it will make him more determined. Lu Shuang is married, so Shen Yen doesn't need to think about her anymore. She might harm her husband's entire family, Su Jiaran guessed. From Su Jiaran's words, Baya could feel that Shen Yen was an overbearing, ruthless, and merciless person. What she hated the most was being forced. She pushed the table hard and said, I'm not eating anymore. You eat. Xiaoya, Su Jiaran shouted. Baya picked up her bag and walked out with a cold face. She walked alone on the way back to the hotel. She was afraid that Lu Shuang did not know that Shen Yen was eyeing her. Otherwise, with Lu Shuang's character, he would definitely tell her. She now suspected that the person who raped Lu Shuang might be this prince. Her phone rang. She saw that it was LV Biao's mother and answered it immediately. Ms. Bai, something happened to LV Biao at school. Someone saw him peeping at girls in the toilet. Now the principal wants me to go. What should I do? I don't dare to tell my husband. He will definitely beat him to death, LV Biao's mother said worriedly. Baya's heart skipped a beat. How is that possible? I'm going to school now. Don't worry, we'll talk about it when we get there. Baya immediately took a taxi and rushed to school. The homeroom teacher came out to pick her up. She went to the principal's office. Other than the homeroom teacher, the principal, the dean, LV Biao, and a few other students were in the principal's office. LV Biao clenched his fists tightly. His eyes were bloodshot and he looked at the students in front of him with a murderous look. Baya saw that something was wrong. She went forward and hugged LV Biao. She said gently, "It's okay, it's okay. You didn't do it, did you?" LV Biao looked at Baya. His eyes were red because he was agitated and wronged. "I didn't. They wronged me. Believe me. There's justice in this world. They can't wrong you. Whatever I ask, you just answer truthfully," Baya said. LV Biao nodded. Baya turned around and looked at the three kids opposite her. An idiom flashed through her mind. "Which one of you saw LV Biao peeping at girls in the toilet?" Baya asked coldly. "All three of us saw it," the chubby boy said. "When did you see it?" Baya questioned. "After the second period, we finished our exercises and went to the toilet. We saw LV Biao peeping at girls," the chubby boy said righteously. "Very good. Fatty, follow me. Principal, follow me too." Baya walked towards the door. Lu Biao held Baya's hand. "Teacher." Baya smiled faintly at LV Biao. When heaven is about to bestow a great responsibility on a man, he must first suffer his will, tire his muscles and bones, starve his skin, empty his body and mess up his actions. That's why his patience has been tempered, and he has done what he couldn't. Now the hardships, setbacks, just to make you more tenacious. Resolute. LV Biao understood. He nodded and let go. Fatty glanced at his companions and followed behind Baya with trepidation. After leaving the door and turning a corner, Baya asked the Fatty, "Did you see LV Biao peeping with your own eyes?" Fatty nodded. "Yes." "Then show us what you saw," Baya said. He locked Fatty in a cold manner and turned on the recording. Fatty felt guilty. His eyes flickered as he walked to the female toilet and laid on the ground. Baya smiled. Lying on the corridor in this position, facing the female toilet. Unless LV Biao is retarded, he wouldn't do that. "That's what I really saw," Fatty said firmly. "All right, you can go back to the classroom now." Baya looked at the principal. "Let's invite the second student to come out and perform." The principal knew Baya's intention, but his face was still solemn. LV Biao was the governor's son. If he did something wrong, they wouldn't dare to punish him. If they wronged the governor's son, the school wouldn't be able to escape the blame. "Let's forget about it," the principal said with a troubled expression. "Now that my student has been wronged, how can we forget about it so easily? Or do you want me to invite Governor LV himself?" Baya said sternly. That. Let's continue watching." The principal bit the bullet and returned to the office with Baya to call another short student. Baya smiled and asked, "Did you see LV Biao peeping with your own eyes?" "Of course," the short student said immediately. "Then please show us what you saw." Baya took out his phone. The short student's face was pale. He leaned against the wall and looked inside. When the principal saw it, his face turned pale too. The third student also came over. What he performed was rushing into the female toilet. "Principal, please call the three students to the principal's office. Also, call their parents over." Baya walked towards the principal's office. LV Biao looked at Baya worriedly. Chapter 270. After a while, the three students were called into the office. They must have had a private discussion as their expressions were very ugly. Baya leaned on the principal's desk and turned on her phone to record the conversation. "Tell me, why did you accuse LV Biao?" "I don't like him," the fatty didn't deny it and said confidently. Baya looked at the other two students and said, "Did you guys accuse him because you don't like him too?" He used his identity as the governor's son to act like a tyrant. Even when he did something bad, there were people protecting him. This kind of person can't be allowed to stay in the school. He will only harm others if he stays, the skinny boy said righteously. Baya's lips twitched and she smiled sarcastically. "You guys aren't the law and you guys aren't gods. You guys think that LV Biao will harm his classmates. Now, it's you guys who are harming, slandering, and slandering his classmates. Your actions will cause LV Biao to be spurned and expelled from the school. It will even affect the reputation of the governor. The circumstances are serious. So, I have already called the police. The rest of the matter will be settled by the law. The principal's expression was very bad. This kind of thing happened in the school and it had a huge impact. How can we not call the police? It's just a small matter. Baya looked at the principal and said, "Do you think LV Biao's expulsion is a small matter? Have you ever thought about how it would affect his soul if he doesn't see justice after being wrongly accused?" "It's not that serious. It's just a child's joke," the principal laughed dryly. Baya became serious and looked at the principal sharply. "If it was just a joke, you wouldn't have called us over." The principal saw that he couldn't convince Baya, so he turned to LV Biao's mother and said, "If this matter gets out, it won't be good for the governor's reputation, right?" LV Biao's mother hesitated and looked at Baya. "Teacher Bai, can I discuss it with you?" LV Biao's mother didn't need to say anything. She knew what to say. Baya nodded and walked out to the corner of the stairs. "Mr. Bai, it's all thanks to you that LV Biao managed to escape. Otherwise, he would have been wrongly accused. However, LV Biao's father is a respectable person. I don't know whether to laugh or cry. Why don't we just let them apologize and let it go?" LV Biao's mother said with a smile. Said. A phrase flashed through Baya's mind. It's the father's fault for not teaching his son well. With LV Biao's personality, the influence of his family was huge. "Madam, you know very well what happened to LV Biao in the past. If he made a mistake, he would not be punished. If he was wronged, he would not be able to see justice. Then, how could his mentality not be twisted? Let him see the power of the law and understand that if he did something wrong, he would be punished. His behavior is developing in the right direction." Baya disagreed. "I need to discuss this matter with my husband." LV Biao's mother seemed to disagree, but she also expressed that she was in charge of LV Biao's affairs. Baya smiled. LV Biao's mother must have made up her mind not to pursue the matter. "It's okay. Go ahead and discuss it. However, please allow me to remind you that the contract I signed with Governor LV clearly states that LV Biao's treatment should be completely according to my plan. You can't interfere. Once you do, the contract will be terminated," Baya expressed clearly. LV Biao's mother's expression did not look good. "I don't think I'm interfering with your treatment plan, right? What you're doing will worsen the psychological distortion of my patient. What do you think? However, the child is yours. I'm just a person who receives money for treatment. The child's future development depends on you, his guardian. I want to go back and see LV Biao." Baya nodded and walked towards the direction of the office. LV Biao's mother's eyes flashed with annoyance. She called LV Xingzhou. "What's the matter?" LV Xingzhou's tone was not very good. "Where did you find this psychiatrist? Not only does she have no manners at all, she's insolent, arrogant, rude, and unruly. Give her some face and she's already starting a dye shop. She's almost stepping on my head. Can't you fire her and find another one?" LV Biao's mother said angrily. Said. "Didn't you say she's quite capable yesterday? She even made Xiao Biao stop making trouble during dinner. She even took the initiative to ask to go to school. What's wrong with you today?" LV Xingzhou's attitude became even worse. "Today, there were 3 students who wrongly accused our LV Biao. She's quite capable. In just a short while, she found a loophole in Xiao Biao's accusation. However, she insisted on suing those 3 students. I want to turn a big problem into a small one and a small one into nothing. After all, what our Xiao Biao did before was true." LV Biao's mother said worriedly. "Don't bother me with such a small matter. You can handle it yourself." LV Xingzhou's tone became slightly better. "But she said that if we interfere with LV Biao's matters, her contract with you will be terminated. LV Biao is my son. Can't I interfere with his matters?" LV Biao's mother got angrier as she spoke. LV Xingzhou was silent. "You gave her so much money. Now that the contract is terminated, can you return it?" LV Biao's mother asked again. "I can't return it. I think she did it on purpose. I've never seen a psychiatrist as arrogant as she is. She's a liar. She wants to use this method to extort a huge sum of money. If she can't be cured in the future, we won't be able to say anything about her. Also, she started putting on airs right after signing the contract. Now, she even sent Xiaobiao to school. She even skipped out on tutoring. This kind of person has a bad character. I don't believe she can take good care of Xiaobiao. Ask her to return the money and get lost. LV Xingzhou was so annoyed that his head was about to explode. You handle it. In the future, take good care of the child. You don't do anything at home and can't even take care of a child. I think I should divorce you and find a new wife to give birth to a smart and healthy child. When LV Biao's mother heard that, she felt wronged. You were the one who didn't want me to go to work. Now you're blaming me? Sob, sob, sob. When LV Xingzhou heard that, he started crying. He didn't say anything and just hung up the phone. LV Biao's mother was even more furious. If it wasn't for Bai Ye, she wouldn't have been scolded for no reason. She went back to the principal's office angrily. Without looking at Bai Ye, she said to the principal, "My husband said that they're all children. Don't make things difficult for them. After all, they're classmates." Bai Ye understood. Why? They wronged me. They should be sent to jail, LV Biao said anxiously. You better get along well with your classmates. Don't cause trouble for me, LV Biao's mother said angrily. LV Biao looked at Bai Ye with a wronged expression. Bai Ye smiled. Your parents are your guardians. I can't make the decision. Because of our differences, I'm afraid I can't be your tutor anymore. Good luck. I'll have high hopes for you. Chapter 271. I hope to find a good teacher for you. Teacher Bai is too harsh and I'm afraid she's not suitable for you. Don't worry, I'll definitely find a better one for you. LV Biao's mother coaxed and belittled Bai Ye. Bai Ye stood there indifferently, raising an elegant and calm smile. Parents played an important role in the development of a child's personality. Since LV Biao's mother didn't approve of her, saying too much would just lower her status. I only want teacher Bai, LV Biao said stubbornly. Kid, why aren't you listening? Wait for your father to come back and let him teach you a lesson. LV Biao's mother was furious. Bai Ye looked at LV Biao. You're talented and smart. You don't need a teacher to guide you and you'll be successful. Even if I'm not your teacher, as long as you get into the top 10 in the monthly test, I will still keep my promise. Teacher Bai, how much do you earn a month? If they don't hire you, I will. LV Biao said stubbornly. You won't be able to afford teacher Bai's salary. She earns 80,000 a day. Your monthly allowance is only enough for her for a day. LV Biao's mother said in disdain. The principal was shocked and looked at Bai Ye. 2 days of her salary was enough for him for a year. Bai Ye felt that it would only get uglier if she continued to stay here. She nodded at LV Biao's mother and walked out of the office. Teacher Bai, wait. LV Biao's mother shouted. Bai Ye walked behind the wall and stopped. You're only teaching LV Biao for a few hours. Based on the fee of 10,000 an hour, can you refund the rest? LV Biao's mother said coldly. Bai Ye wasn't angry. He smiled. Madam LV, you can check the contract and get a lawyer to look at it before calling me. How can you be so shameless? It's only been a few hours and it's already close to 2 million. Even if you sell it, you won't be able to make that much money. Are you going to refund the money or not? If you don't refund it, don't even think about working in the future. LV Biao's mother warned. Bai Ye looked at LV Biao's mother calmly. Her gaze was calm and serene. LV Biao's mother frowned. What are you looking at? My employment relationship with you ends now. However, I have to remind you that there are some words that no one will care if they are spoken at a lower position, but if they are spoken at a higher position, they will be magnified without limit. Similarly, there are some things that are done at a lower position, but if they are done at a higher position, they will lose. Bai Ye warned as he walked towards the stairs. LV Biao's mother was in a daze. When she came to her senses, Bai Ye had already gone downstairs. She walked out of the school gate, got on a taxi, and went back to the hotel. She called Su Jiaran. You don't need to look for mercenaries anymore. There's no change to the plan. Bad. I'm fired. What's going on? Su Jiaran asked worriedly. Reasonable, but unexpected. That's all for now. She hung up the phone, looked out the window and sighed. Originally, he wanted to use the opportunity of counseling to get close to LV Xingzhou. Unfortunately, this world was full of too many uncertainties. There were miracles and accidents. He couldn't force it and could only adapt. When she arrived at the hotel, Su Jiaran was already there. Are you okay? They didn't make things difficult for you, did they? Su Jiaran looked at her face. Baya shook her head. They interfered with my treatment, so they terminated the contract. If they didn't terminate it, I wouldn't have been able to cure LV Biao within 3 months under their interference. Were you confident that you could cure him within 3 months? Baya smiled faintly. LV Biao is very perceptive. He's like a strong and healthy sapling. If he's tied to a straight wooden stick, he'll be upright. I can cure him within a month. However, if the people outside want to mess with him, he'll really go astray. It's quite scary. It's all fate. I'll pack my things and go back to City A. It's good to go back to City A. City A is my territory. No one will dare to bully you, Su Jiaran promised. As long as you don't bully me, Baya said meaningfully. Su Jiaran was speechless. While she was packing her luggage, Su Jiaran's phone rang. He glanced at the caller ID and frowned. He turned around and walked out of the door. He answered the phone and asked, "What's wrong?" Gu Lingqing said he doesn't want to marry me. What do you think I should do? Zhou Hailan asked in a low voice. Cry, throw a tantrum, and threaten to hang yourself. Isn't that your usual routine? You were very confident in yourself. This is a task given to you by the higher-ups. You should solve it yourself, Su Jiaran said coldly. If I insist on getting married, Gu Lingqing will only hate me. Even if I marry him, I won't be happy, Zhou Hailan said irritably. How you deal with it is your business. That's all. I'm very busy. Su Jiaran did not wait for Zhou Hailan to speak and hung up the phone directly. Zhou Hailan was irritated and stomped his feet angrily. He breathed in, and breathed out. He adjusted his emotions and called Gu Lingqing. Ah Qing, Xiao Bao can't live without a father. I've let him down for 5 years. Don't abandon us, okay? Xiao Bao and I only have you now. Xiao Bao will have a father. I will fulfill my responsibility as a father. I will also take care of you for the rest of my life. However, Gu Lingqing's wife will only be Bai Ya. I'm sorry? Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. He was very determined. Bai Ya treated you so well. She left you when you needed her the most and went to stay with Su Jiaran. Why are you still thinking about her? I'm the one you need to take care of, am I not? Zhou Hailan said anxiously. Hailan, it's clearly stated in the agreement that whoever proposes to separate first will leave with nothing. I have 3 houses and 1.08 million in my personal savings. I will let my lawyer handle it. Gu Lingqing was determined. I don't want your houses or your savings. Ah Qing, I'm wrong. I shouldn't have forced you. Let's cancel the agreement. I don't want Xiao Bao to have no chance to see you because of my selfishness. Zhou Hailan compromised. After a moment of silence, Gu Lingqing said, Thank you. However, let's follow the legal procedure. Don't worry. I will take good care of you and Xiao Bao. I will also recognize Xiao Bao's identity. That's it for now. I still have work to do. After speaking, Gu Lingqing hung up the phone. Zhou Hailan was so angry that he smashed his phone against the wall. 3 houses and 1.08 million yuan. Compared with the Gu's group, it was simply a drop in the bucket. She had more money than this. What was the use of it? Bai Ya. Gu Lingqing only had Bai Ya in his heart now. Except that Bai Ya was younger, prettier, and had a better figure. She really couldn't see what made Gu Lingqing like and infatuated with Bai Ya so much. She and her son couldn't stop him. There was also Su Jiaran. He was also distracted by Bai Ya. Were all these men blind? What was so good about an iceberg? Chapter 272. Baya got on the train back to City A. She looked out of the window. The sunlight was just right. It fell on the ground, and it was white. The green leaves were very green, the grass was very green, and the flowers were all kinds of colors. They were colorful and full of vitality. The corners of her mouth curled up slightly. Su Jiaran kept looking at her. She smiled, and he also smiled. Time was peaceful. If he had realized his feelings for her earlier, perhaps they would have been happy together, and there would have been 2 children. He held her hand. Baya looked at him, and her gaze returned to its usual coldness. What's wrong? Are you hungry? Go to the restaurant and eat something. Don't be hungry. Su Jiaran pulled her up. After his reminder, she realized that she was indeed a little hungry, so she followed him into the restaurant. Su Jiaran ordered 2 40-yuan lunchboxes and 2 bottles of Coke. He placed them in front of her. Baya opened the lid and lowered her head to eat. Are you still going to work at the research institute after you go back? Su Jiaran asked. Yes. Baya remembered that she still owed Mu Xiaoxing a lot of cases. She had to pay off the debt before she could leave. I'll buy a house near your research institute. That way, you'll be closer to work. Cough, cough. Baya choked on her food. Su Jiaran immediately opened the Coke bottle and handed it to Baya. She took it and drank a few mouthfuls. It seemed that men liked to buy houses for women. Gu Lingqing was one, and so was Su Jiaran. I like to live in a hotel. Baya refused tactfully. Why? I can renovate the house into a hotel suite. You can tell me anything you need. Su Jiaran was puzzled. I can enjoy the star-rated service of the hotel. I'll be there whenever I call. Besides, Baya paused and looked at Su Jiaran. The hotel won't make me feel lonely. I will always be with you. I won't let you stay at home alone. I swear, Su Jiaran said sincerely. Baya smiled. Then buy it and decorate it well. Anyway, it would take half a year for the renovations to be completed. Seeing that she agreed, Su Jiaran was very happy. I will hire a housekeeper, a chef, and a few servants. This way, you will enjoy better service than the hotel. Baya didn't respond. He lowered his head and continued eating. They arrived at City A at 6:40 p.m. 2 hours earlier, Baya had called Lu Shuang. As they walked out of the station, Lu Shuang waved at Baya. Baya saw it and walked towards Lu Shuang. I'll stay at your place today. Is that convenient? Yes, it's convenient. You're always welcome. Lu Shuang looked at Su Jiaran. Su Jiaran looked at Baya. Then Xiaoya. Have a good rest tonight. I'll contact you tomorrow. Baya nodded and got into the driver's seat. Lu Shuang sat in the passenger's seat and looked at Baya with a smile. You came back to look for me? Baya drove. We'll talk about it when we get to your place. Have you eaten? Not yet. I'm waiting for you. Lu Shuang looked at Baya's serious face and felt guilty. He pulled on the seatbelt and looked at Baya again and again. Xiaobai, I heard some gossip today. They said that you married Gu Lingqing and then something happened to Gu Lingqing, so you forced Gu Lingqing to divorce. Is that true? Lu Shuang didn't believe it. Baya didn't tell him that she was married to Gu Lingqing. It's true. Baya didn't deny it. Ha! You married Gu Lingqing? Why didn't you tell me? Lu Shuang was shocked. It happened so suddenly. My marriage and divorce weren't within my expectations. When I had time to settle down, it was already the ending today, Baya said calmly. So you're with Su Jiaran now? Lu Shuang scratched his head in confusion. If it's just on the surface, then we're together. But if it's in our hearts, no. Baya didn't hide it. Lu Shuang pursed her lips and looked gloomily at the air in front of her. After a moment of silence, she said sadly, life is so magical. Enemies can become friends, friends can become enemies. People who love each other can become people who hate each other, and people who hate each other can become people who live together. People who hate each other can become people who live together. Baya's hand that was holding the steering wheel tightened. She glanced at Lu Shuang and her eyes flickered. She said tentatively, if you live with Shen Yan for the rest of your life, then I'd rather be single for the rest of my life. Before Baya could finish, Lu Shuang interrupted her. Bai Ya's heart became heavy. She frowned. I met my junior high classmate last time. She even talked about Shen Yen. She said that he had changed 3 girlfriends this year. This guy, hee. Lu Shuang added. The word hee was filled with disdain and contempt for Shen Yen. At the red light, Bai Ya stepped on the brake and looked at Lu Shuang. What are you going to do about the child? That. Lu Shuang evaded and finally said what he was thinking. I think it's good to have a child instead of a husband. What if the child's father isn't a good person? Bai Ya said solemnly. The child is mine. It's mine alone. Who cares who the father is? Even if my child doesn't have a father, he won't lack love. Lu Shuang said with a smile. What if this is the child's father's deliberate plan? Bai Ya continued. Lu Shuang paused. It can't be, right? Someone told me that the father of the child in your stomach is most likely Shen Yen. Bai Ya said it out loud. She did not want to avoid it. Avoiding it would not solve any problem. The red light turned green. She drove forward. Lu Shuang's eyes widened. He looked at Bai Ya in shock. How is that possible? I had sex with Shen Yen 3 years ago. How can I only get pregnant now? The person who had sex with you last time should be Shen Yen. You haven't been able to find a boyfriend for the past 3 years. It should be Shen Yen's doing, Bai Ya explained. Lu Shuang could not stay calm. Is he crazy? He's so popular. Why is he making things difficult for a commoner like me? Is there something wrong with his brain? Why am I so unlucky? When she thought of Shen Yen, she shuddered. Her eyes turned red. She did not want to believe it. This was the worst outcome that she had not expected. She felt a chill down her spine. She looked at Bai Ya. Xiao Bai, don't lie to me. You can't joke about this. I'm not joking with you, Bai Ya said coldly. She sped up. Lu Shuang looked at Bai Ya's serious expression. He felt a chill down his spine. When she knew that she was pregnant, she was quite happy. She thought that since she could not find a boyfriend and could not get married, having a child would not be bad. She would not be lonely when she was old. As for love, she was a little afraid when she saw how Bai Ya behaved. However, the child was actually Shen Yen's. You're tuning in to the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.